Man,
What's up, everybody? This is the bonus episode of Saturday Night Nerds live streaming podcast. It's your boy Deontay the Giant. I got the gang with me, the Emperor Will D, the King, and we got Cameron and EJ also hosting with us. Glad to have you guys out with us.
hey, what's up, man?
Yes, sir. We got three. Well, we got three smaller. Well, I wouldn't say small, like brief topics, kind of. Black Adam, House of the Dragon season one, maybe Tales of the Jedi, and some other shows and movies that we've been watching before the show ends. And then we'll start with Black Adam first, and then give our thoughts and opinions on that, and then keep it going for the rest of the content.
I'll be right
So,
back.
without further ado, I am going to play the theme song.
Is the best thing what? Exactly.
Yes, sir. An hour late and feeling great. well, welcome back, everybody, to the Saturday Night Nerds live streaming podcast bonus episode for the October streamathon that we've been having. Emperor King Will just stepped out for a second, but he should be back shortly. Once again, I got Cameron and EJ with me, and we are reviewing House of the Dragon, Black Adam, Tales of the Jedi, and whatever else we can squeeze in this time frame. So, without further ado, the first topic will be Black Adam, and instead of Rochambeau, I guess we'll start with the Cam. We'll start with Cam first and go clockwise from my screen.
Okay.
Save the best for last, if you want to say that.
He
Uh,
put the best up first.
I don't know about that now.
Yeah.
No, Black Adam. I thought it was like a really good, really entertaining movie for sure. Uh, as anyone who knows, like Dwayne Johnson, like he posts and tells everything. He's been working on this movie for the last 15 years, and just the fact that it took him this long to like make this movie happen, it's just kind of surreal. And just like, granted, there are a few things that finer points in like the story that could have been done a little bit better, like more explained, like
Yeah.
thorough. But for the most
Right.
part, I enjoyed it, like just about most, if not everything about it for sure. Like he did a great job playing like the stoic, like unforgiving, unclenching, I'll stare it whole through your skull, Black Adam. Like
Mm-hmm.
he did a great job, and just for sure. And the action sequences were on point. One of my favorites was when in the beginning when he leaves the tomb, and like there's like all these armed forces, and like they start firing at him, and then because he's as basically as fast as Superman, like time slows down. It's like whenever, if anyone here's watched X-Men, Days of Future Past, or Apocalypse, and we see Quicksilver move so
Silver.
fast, everything slows down.
Yeah.
It's so surreal. It looked really, really cool. Granted, Quicksilver does that the best, but this was actually really done really well. And him and Pierce Brosnan were definitely the stars of this, because
Mm-hmm.
Pierce Brosnan was perfectly cast as Dr. Fate.
Yeah.
He was amazing, and I want to see more of him. It's like even after what happened, if anyone's seen the movie, if we also advise you, there will be spoilers. So if you don't want to hear it, you can click out now. If you don't mind, like
Run.
DJ, we don't run for the hills.
Yeah.
But no, even after what I want to see more Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate for sure. I want to see more of the two and just have them because clearly they've been around for a while, but this is the first time we're actually hearing about them. So where are they? Where have they been? The world almost ended 5 years ago. So where were they? But
like an Eternals kind of thing.
Yeah.
That feels like whoa.
International crises. That's what Hawkman said. But no, I liked Aldous Hodges. He's probably my favorite person that's played Hawkman. And there hasn't been that much done with him too. They had him on Smallville, they had him on Legends of Tomorrow, but I definitely liked the Aldouses for sure. And
hands down,
most of the cast was on point, amazing, and I mean, and obviously what they tease for the future, at the end, if basically everyone knows Henry Cavill was in the movie at the very end, but they say that they're not going to directly instantly go for a Superman Black Adam movie, but they're gonna build up to that, and that will be really really good. And but I all around I definitely recommend going to see Black Adam for sure. And you got anyone out there who loves DC, who loves Dwayne Johnson, you guys will love it for sure. But on point for sure. I think that's about all from me. Will, you want to go next?
Like you were saying, man. I definitely recommend going to watch this. I know a lot of people say it's not worth you spending your money to go to the movies and watch, but for me it was worth it because this was pretty much a historical day for DC, man. It's been it was doing numbers, you know what I'm saying? And at the same time it was the experience of it all to just be there and witness that happening in real time and stuff like that. I'd say, it's up to you. It's up to you. I'm not going to tell you it's worth going to see it. You spending your money. You decide what you want to do. But for me, it was worth it. Also, they perfectly casted everybody. It was amazing, man. And Cameron was saying, Pierce killed it. I did have my I had my reservations on him, man, playing Dr. Fate, and I'm like, can he really do it? And I guess with CGI and everything, yeah, he could. He did that part, man. And I'm like, I couldn't have picked. I don't see anybody else playing him. It's like one of those things where you're like, I can't see anyone else playing Superman. I can't see anybody else playing Iron Man other than
you can't see anyone else playing Deadpool.
They basically casted all of them. Hawkman was also a good choice. The actor they chose for him was, man, on point. I loved it. And,
swag.
The whole cast together had some good moments. They had some comedic moments, but at the same time, they knew when to take it down a notch and get serious with it. You know what I mean?
Right. And Dwayne Johnson, he's usually pretty charming and just very swaggerish and just very tries to be funny. But he was funny, but not on purpose. When he was when he would be serious and they would ask him a question.
At the same time, if I were to compare this to the Thor: Love and Thunder, I like this one better. It may be an unpopular opinion. I like this one better because they knew when to take that comedy down a notch. It wasn't all laughs and giggles and stuff. And when the villain actually came, you felt terrified for them. You were like, "Oh shoot, this is serious."
Yes,
it's serious.
Oh
Like
man.
with
Yeah.
Thor: Love and Thunder, I didn't really get that with Gore, and you're supposed to get it with Gore because he's been around killing, slaying gods. He's been around destroying worlds and stuff. Like you're supposed to be very intimidated by this guy. I didn't get that.
I was more
But like,
intimidated by the sword itself a little bit more than
yeah,
Gore. Not to say it wasn't intimidating at times, but yeah.
Well, I
yeah,
think that
definitely. But yeah,
Bale
like
knocked it out the park with his acting,
oh
but
yeah,
Mhm.
they didn't give enough. They didn't give anything to bite for him to get his claws into to make like I mean not literally, but to give Gore that moment.
yeah,
So like he showed you he had the passion behind the. I mean, you were just like, wow, I feel for this
mhm,
dude. Never
yeah,
got it to go anywhere. It was just like
yeah.
real
Right.
quick. So
And then they killed him off.
mhm.
That first movie, like it's like,
Man.
what were
Right.
you thinking?
Well, it's the common like it's the problem Marvel and DC have had. Like
Yeah.
they kill off their main villains like really quickly, like
Mhm.
for most part of them.
Yeah, and so yeah, like I was, you know, everything was everything lined up pretty good. If I were to critique it, I would say they did way too many slow mo shots. Like they were doing slow mo like every battle, every other battle, and something like that. And I'm like,
Yeah, I
you
can
don't
see
really
that.
need that,
Like a
you know?
Yeah, like
Bollywood film.
Yeah, like what were you? Yeah, no. All right, chill with the slow mo. Yeah, like I'm like, okay, we get it. We get it. They're fast. They're fighting really fast, man, and they're doing really cool things. But you don't need to slow it down every single time. Like it's just. But overall, a very like a solid movie. Solid movie. Pretty good movie, man.
Yeah. You haven't seen it yet, EJ?
I'll just
Yeah.
stand by. I have some
Yeah.
questions for each of you, I guess, but I wanted to hear your take, and then I got a
Yeah,
couple of questions, especially because I know a little bit. We all know everybody has preferences and so
yeah.
forth. So I was just kind of
Mhm.
hmm
curious.
All
yeah.
right.
All right,
Yeah.
D.
Deontay.
All right. Well, let's see if I get cut off like mid speech or rant or whatever I end up doing, I'll be back. I just got to grab my food. It's probably at the door
Okay.
at any minute now. But uh, yeah, Black Adam was a treat. Mm,
Yeah.
it was definitely a treat. I I went in being petty, like
Yeah.
not like a seriously to the heart level, but I was just like,
Mm,
yo, if they made this dude look like he was basically the presence of DC, I would have tore this movie apart. So I was like, yeah, I was ready to give it an F, but I wasn't gonna give it an F guaranteed. I was just like,
mm.
just give me a
You were
reason.
holding that F.
Mhm.
I was like, I'm ready to deliver this Prime Day delivery, free shipping and handling. Like you about
Oh
to get
God.
it, bro.
We went in
Like,
there and Deontay was like, "Hey, Will, hold this L. I might need it later."
Oh.
yeah, it's like one of the running gags of Saturday Night Nerds is that I am Dwayne Johnson's biggest hater. And sometimes that could be debatable because I've seen people hate him way more than me. And I let him slide for stuff like Scorpion King and all that. And
Mhm.
sometimes Doom, if I think about it, but I would not go looking for any of these movies ever again on my own volition.
Yeah.
But yeah, my beef with Dwayne Johnson is just because Hollywood thinks that he is just a scam ticket, and you cast him as the main protagonist, it's automatic box office smash. And it's
No.
just, but a lot of us have matured enough to know that, like, yeah, the Rock's cool, but he ain't that damn cool to get our money like that.
Hmm.
Inflation, movie tickets are going up to like fucking $20.
Oh my.
I'm not. I wouldn't recommend if you're frugal with your money, you could definitely wait till HBO Max to see this. But at the same time, if you're kind of a casual like comic book superhero movie fan, this will rock your socks off. Like
Right.
I actually thought you see what I did there. You see what
Yeah.
I actually thought that the
All right, Mick.
from a casual perspective that I would probably have given this movie a B minus had certain things not went sideways in the movie, like a solid B minus, like no C plus tag along. It would have been B minus, B plus, maybe A minus if certain things hadn't happened.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, one of those things that happened is they killed Dr. Fate.
Supposedly.
Supposedly. But it, for all we know, we might not even see Pierce Brosnan again.
I have my
And
theories.
yeah, we the theories come with the movie,
Mm-hmm.
but as far as portrayals go and what a casual fan would have to witness, like if you even had just like a little bit of knowledge of Dr. Fate, like entry level, you would have been like, yeah, Sabak would have not been able to pull that
Oh
off.
no.
Like
Yeah.
even with Kent Nelson nerfed, which he was,
You would. They
he
had
would
to.
have he wouldn't have been able to. Sabak wouldn't have been able to kill him. Like,
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah.
He's
I
like
agree. Yeah.
Doctor
If he were
Strange
at
on
full.
steroids.
yeah, they made Black Adam look so much more OP than him. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but the fact that Black Adam, the only person that's hell bent on killing the enemy, shows up and just pulls Sabak in half, and it's like, oh, Sabak will give him a really good challenge for sure. The fight between them two was impressive.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, like, I love the fights in general for the Black Adam movie were crazy. Like the fight between Hawkman and Black Adam was very intense.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that Hawkman could hang with him for so long, like even with the magical mace, like they gave him a fighting chance. But it's just like Black Adam's like a couple centuries old veteran warrior. He's not they accurately kind of showed him getting tossed around like exactly how it would happen in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Gibbs says Kent wasn't nerf. He just didn't have Naboo taking over a huge distinction. No, that was a nerf.
No,
In the comic books, that helmet is supposed to be full. So, most people don't know this, but in the JSA storyline, Kent Nelson at a certain point had to run with a half helmet to keep Naboo in check.
Right.
And when Kent died in this movie, the helmet went full, and you saw Naboo's eyes glow in the helmet, and that kind of alluded to like people believing that Fate isn't dead. So
I personally think it was some type of illusion.
it's like, yeah,
just to get Black Adam to come out of his little
question for clarification. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. Like I said, DC guys, you guys know, Fate's power can pass with the helmet, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to
the
be
helmet.
Fate himself embodied. He can pass the power can be passed with the helmet. So, in a way, they did enough to build to where you saw the power of Fate.
Yeah.
Like how powerful Fate can be, but they left it open. If they do need to recast, they can, or if they do need new blood, they can.
I wouldn't say not necessarily recast, but like find a new wearer for the helmet because
that's what I meant. Like so
passing the torch.
Like travel a little bit further down the line because there's a ton of Dr. Fate helmet of Fate wearers, but
they could definitely
it's been passed on to other heroes in the Justice League throughout the course of stories where it's like, hey, they need a superpower weapon here to defeat the situation, and then someone will come up as wearing Fate, and it's like, whoa, and then they're like, so they've already established that the power of it. So it kind of leaves it open, like, hey, if we're going to approach it again, be it with the same character or just popping up, like if you saw Mjolnir in another, oh shit,
right?
Yeah,
like
that's Fate's helmet. Oh shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, is
Yeah,
as mighty and as holy as the hammer. But
Yeah.
yeah, the helmet is basically embodiment of a Lord of Order,
mm-hmm.
and whoever he allows to like wear the helmet, that is who he basically possesses the body, which Dee was talking about. Like fate is in just as much a control as Kent or anyone else was. So
Yeah.
if they decide to do something with Doctor Fate, a movie, a series, or whatever, they could probably do backstory to where Kent got the helmet and see how his life progressed, or they could do a search for a new wearer of the helmet, and inside the helmet, the new wearer, the new host, could talk or speak to like an embodiment of Nabu or Kent himself.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think
Okay.
do you think it's necessary for a new helmet wearer, or should they just kept Kent around just a little bit longer?
Not right now.
I I would have honestly, I would have personally liked them to keep Kent around. Just one, because I love Doctor Fate and love Kent, and second, Pierce Brosnan did a great job. But
You sure did.
I would definitely say for sure there'd be probably a need for a new Doctor Fate for sure, because like there's not really a lot of magical like heroes, like as far as I know, like in the movies that have been done outside of him. Maybe the most would be Adam or
Constantine.
Shazam or
Mhm.
Wonder Woman, but nothing like really like magical, mystical. And like
Yeah.
he is like one of the most. He's like Doctor Strange for DC, and he's just as powerful, if not more.
Well,
So if they could absolutely find like someone else to
You feel
wear the
like they could
helmet.
have possibly left it like mysterious on purpose because it leaves that, that little hook out there to,
Mhm.
Right.
to draw people. Like if they even hint towards an answer to whether he's gone in any other further movie, like let's say when they do have a clash with Shazam and Black Adam, that they hint, oh, they just show the helmet, then everyone would be like, oh, wait, they might bring him back. They might be new,
yeah.
so it's in a way, it's good for the writers because you left that door open,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but open with interest, not like just the character,
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
And
So
and
it's
they
it's a
definitely
little
tease that.
harsh.
Yeah, they definitely tease that in the movie too, for sure. Yeah, like the helmet, like disappearing or like
Mhm.
vanishing from the world, either just being gone or finding a new host. So, yeah.
Yeah,
is there
it's
a
a little
place
it's a
that the
little
helmet
harsh that
normally
they
goes?
use Sabak impaling him, and it's just like
Hmm.
it's he. I don't know if Sabak would ever get that close.
Yeah.
Sabak is a really powerful magic user
Hmm.
in
So
the
it's
Shazam
possible.
world, but
Eh,
Was there a lot of distractions going on, or was it just a
Well,
head-to-head, one-on-one?
guess
it's one
so.
on one,
Kent
and
basically
one on.
confessed in front of him, and he said, "I'm not going to be able to be strong. I'm not strong enough to hold him." And it's just like, wait, what?
Yeah,
I
well,
don't.
he said he was
Right.
100 years old, and he was using magic to put up a barrier to keep the rest of the JSA safe. So he was kind of like
Oh
extending
yeah.
himself,
That would kind of
extending
make
himself
sense.
in his power. As powerful as he is, like everyone has their limits, and
Yeah.
Sabak can be pretty powerful.
Yeah, and Kent has the best relationship with Nabu. The fact that we showed this reluctant phase of him wearing the half helmet is just like it shows how competent Kent is with his
Yeah.
own
With
magic,
magic.
and then it also shows that I would say like if even if it was an accident and that he got the full helmet back, it wouldn't be like Nabu would just immediately take over forever. Not sometimes Nabu was able to give him himself back, but Nabu needed to handle his own business first
Hmm.
in
Yeah.
order for that to happen. So
So they
because he's a
kind of
Lords of
shared the
Order,
body or something like that.
yeah, he has a lot of business to take care of, and that's all he cares about. He's one of the biggest douchebags in all of DC, and
Yeah, he's a Lord of Order. Like he
mm-hmm,
sees like as basically humans as well as heroes and as like pawns on a chessboard. Like I need you to do this, move here, be there,
As
in
long
order
as it
for there
keeps
to
the
be a
balance, he
true order.
good.
yeah,
For everything to
like
flow, kind of like the Watcher. Like it's,
Yeah.
everything's got to flow, a certain way. So no, well, he's more hands off, but in the same
Yeah,
sense of just,
watching.
watching and making sure everything's happening the way it's supposed to happen. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, well, thanks for not doing anything. That's awesome.
Right.
yeah, and being able to read the source material as a screenwriter and like having being that in tune with it, I wouldn't have wrote him. I would have like got him separated from the fight to keep things being unfair for Sabak. Like leave it strictly Black Adam versus Sabak, and then we can talk business a little bit. But they kind of mixed a lot of storylines into this movie. So when so they introduced Black Adam and recruited him to JSA in the same
Oh, wow.
film.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't really
And-
recruit him, but they introduced the JSA for sure, as well as like Kondak, and just like telling us what their struggle was and like everything. They try to do a little bit of politics in the movie with Kondak, but yeah, there were a lot of moving pieces in this for sure. But still, I mean, they did a fairly good job. Like, not the best, but they did a fairly good job with everything that they had.
The
Yeah.
pacing was okay.
They should have gotten rid of the mom and the son too. It's like I guess they needed some comic relief, but you kind of had that with the giant Deadpool.
They serve no purpose to me. Like,
absolutely none.
New fresh faces and just like yeah. It was basically
Was it to make him more personable?
Aldous,
Like,
Pierce's,
I
and
guess,
Dwayne's.
like
Yeah.
like if you're gonna if the main character is gonna end up being, an asshole for 90% of the movie, then if you want people to even like him a little bit, you got to have, a nugget here, a nugget there. That's like, he's not all bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's probably what
He's a dick, but he's a
Yeah.
necessary dick.
He's an understandable dick. We're okay. I mean, it's just like when you had Cable and Deadpool, you're like, man, they got to do something to make him a little less of a dick, because you would have hated him. Even when they teamed up, you would have been like, I don't care if he dies. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they gotta throw out little bits here and there, and I think that's not so much fan service as the casual, because the casual watcher, if you're gonna hook them for the next movie, you got to give them somebody that they're partially invested in.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they got to like, all right, why is the reason I want him to succeed? Because if he's just a asshole, I don't care if why he's an asshole. Like, everybody has bad things happen to them. Doesn't mean you're going to root for the guy when he's getting vengeance, So
and they kind of use his history to his advantage too. Even though his whole history that they knew about was a lie, they kind of they took it and they just rode with it. Later, the mom found out like, oh, you're full of shit, and you're actually a selfish prick, and you've been going around just murking people. It's what?
Yeah.
And the whole city worships you?
My favorite part was when him and Hawkman were arguing, and then these guys were coming after him, and Hawkman and they were like, "Don't kill him," and he was like, "Oh, okay." So I guess he grabs the guy and he tosses him, and it's like, I don't know. I think someone called him. They were like, "We told you not to kill him." He's like, but he called him.
I knew you was gonna catch him. I knew you was gonna catch him, so I dropped him for a reason.
Right? Yeah. Oh, the one that he threw actually died. My fault. It was the one in the air that somebody caught.
Yeah, he had two villains in his hands, and he was dropping them one by one. Hawkman caught one, and I think Fate caught the other one, and he was trying to get answers out of them. So that was pretty funny. But he did throw somebody into the ocean. That was crazy. He sent that dude skyrocketing.
That dude went splat.
Well, I mean, as you guys have all seen it, do you feel like this is DC picking the pieces up and trying to build a foundation for moving forward that's going to work? I mean, did it feel like more of a working piece to a greater DC, EU universe kind of deal? So this is a good
I'd say it was
block.
like a good stepping stone. I'd say it was a good stepping stone in the right direction for sure, especially with like Superman and like Waller being in it. That helped like connect it a little bit. And now that we've got James Gunn and Peter Safran like actually taking charge with DC, that'll help for sure. But it felt like a good stepping stone in the right direction.
I mean, they had to tear it down and then build it right back up, better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
y'all caught the
more or
Easter.
less.
Y'all caught the biggest Easter egg, didn't y'all? Like, Project Cadmus was underway.
Mm, yeah.
Like they introduced one of the docs that was with Task Force X in the movie when they had Black Adam like retire the word Shazam, and they put him in the suitcase, and you
Mhm.
could barely see it, but in those red like bodies or those red like coffins all over the place, it's just like, yo, those are superheroes in
Meta
there.
humans and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mm.
metahumans and all
probably
that.
like
It's like
probably
Project
recruits for
Cadmus.
like Task Force X for like for if Waller ever needed any.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's what Cadmus is what's responsible for Superboy. And
Yeah.
Superboy, he joins Young Justice. But
And
originally he was intended to he was like a fail-safe method to keep superheroes in line just in case
Mhm.
they went evil. But it kind
right.
of blew up in Cadmus' face for a number of reasons. So if Project Cadmus is going to be canon in the DCU, there's a lot of different directions you can go with this. But
Hmm.
even though Black Adam's not officially in the JSA, it's kind of a safe bet that the next movie probably will be a JSA movie.
Yeah.
But this movie, I pr- I feel like it shouldn't have been titled Black Adam. It should have been called JSA Hero of Conduct. That like
Yeah.
that would have made so much more sense. Like, yeah, because you put in just the right amount of focus on Dwayne Johnson.
And
Uh,
not too much.
they also go back to the dynamics of how Hawkman and Fate get along, how
Yeah.
Cyclone and Atom Smasher, how all those guys
They
get
kind of
along.
fleshed them out a little bit
Yeah,
Hmm.
more. Yeah.
Yeah, and if
Which I
they do a
like.
JSA movie, we could flesh them out a little bit more than
Yeah.
they already did, and like bring in new faces too, like
So
more
yeah, this
more
was a
people.
good building block for sure.
Hmm.
yeah, and
Well, this is
freaking
definitely like they've set it out there as, hey, we can work from this in different directions,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they have a
Yeah.
common core, to work with. That's good. I mean, that's good because for I don't know, what have we been talking about? Like, let me 4 months, 4 or 5 months now. We've been talking about the crumbling DCEU.
Yeah.
Is like,
DC.
mhm,
whoa, what are you guys doing? And a
We
lot
don't
of a
know.
lot of
And we
lackluster
thought
stuff to
so
look at.
much that this movie would probably not be all that, that it would fail and all that stuff. We had our
I mean,
doubts about it.
I immediately thought it was going to be like fantastic. I mean, it was really great. It wasn't the best, but it was. I still think it's really great.
Yeah, but
yeah,
it
it. Oh yeah,
superseded our expectations and stuff.
Well, I
So
mean, do you feel that way, like, because your expectations were so low? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
how am I? Like the
me
X-Men movies,
initially,
Fox's X-Men movies are, oh my god! But
yeah,
mhm,
when First Class came out, First Class is not a great movie. Okay, but everyone loves it. The reason everyone loves it is because we already knew X-Men was
Who they
trash,
were.
hmm,
and then they gave us something that was just a step above trash. It was leftovers. It was like, here
yeah,
you go.
Yes.
We haven't thrown it away yet. You can snack on it a little bit. It's not as bad as the other ones.
and still
So,
right,
some meat on the
I mean,
bone.
is Black Adam getting a lot of love because, yo, you guys messed up so bad with Wonder Woman 1984? I mean, you guys have messed up.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Or
is it getting that? Like, the bar has been so low now that it's like,
That could be it.
you
That could
know,
be it with DC because it's just
possibly.
like,
it's the opposite to what's happened to MCU. Like, Thor is suffering because the bar was set so high and someone took the mantle and
mhm,
flew mediocre. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So
yeah,
everyone's like,
that
Mhm.
this ain't MCU worthy.
let the
Is it the
shitstorm
opposite for
begin.
Black Adam? They're like, yo, you knocked it out the park because we didn't have, dark
yeah,
dreaming Batman, with
Yeah,
a machine gun.
with
You-
that, yeah, with that being said, like restarting the DCU over with JSA, like most people aren't going to get behind that idea, but I think as a comic book fan, I really think that's a interesting thing, because
Mhm.
what you could do is you could do a Hawkman spinoff and
Mhm.
and get into all the Thanagarans, show his
Right.
romance with Hawk girls, and
Yeah.
And
maybe even
and
explore their race.
right. And
Yeah.
maybe if this is part of his character, like maybe talk about like the Targaryen Rand War, if
Mm-hmm.
that's if he was a part of that or not, But yeah, no, and they could do, like I said, they could do Doctor Fate movie. They could do like a JSA movie, and they could do so. There's so much potential.
Yeah.
Oh, 1 second. I'll
Well,
be
that's
right back.
definitely good to hear. I mean, I'm not the kind that picks one or the other. I'm not going to watch that because it's DC. I've watched
Yeah.
everything DC put out too. You know,
Same.
I'm not a
Right.
huge DC comics. I didn't read a lot of it. Probably my most is Batman. You know, for
Mhm.
reading or a little bit of Flash. But I mean,
Right.
um, I love the movies because they're kind of like our era's mythological hero stories. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of
Right.
this is our, Achilles. This is our, uh, this is
Yeah.
our mythology for this
Right.
age. This is how we
Right.
pass
Right.
on our heroes, for now.
Yeah.
So I enjoy them all. It's an escape and I like the stories. And I mean, every comic book hero they've put out there, for the most part, with the exception of Deadpool, has
Mhm.
nearly like 50 years of history of writing to rely on. So you've got great information to go with. So
Yeah.
um, I don't know. I feel like I'm interested now after hearing you guys' opinions, especially because you guys are so versed in DC that it didn't go too far off of the tracks, enough to
Right.
enjoy, but also good. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
If you don't want to go see it out in theaters right now, you can always wait for when it
Mhm.
comes out, like digitally or like on Blu-ray. But I think
HBO
you would
Max
enjoy it for
something.
sure.
Yeah.
hmm All right. Any more questions or any more thoughts about like what
Uh,
how Black Adam was?
what? Okay. So what would be? Well, I guess I'll wait. I don't know. I'll get Deontay's when he come back. But Cameron, what would you rank it from A to F from a score of 1 to 10? What's
One
your?
to A to F. I would probably say B plus and 7.5, 8.
Okay, that's fair. That's pretty good. That's pretty good though.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Deontay?
For Black Adam, I would settle for a C plus, but on a scale of 1 through 10, I would say maybe a solid 7.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
Me, same B plus, and scale of 1 to 10. I'd say a 7.8.
okay.
Close to an 8, but
No,
7.8 for me.
well, no, we all got like the same like general like consensus of what we thought,
So
so
it averages
that's
Yeah.
out.
good.
Yeah, that's good. So that's fair. I mean, what would you say though in the DCEU is
Would it
your
rank?
your base? Like, who is 1 and who is 10? Because that's what we're rating them,
Oh,
right? That's how we're doing
Yeah.
a 10.
Like which movie?
So I mean, are we
Oh
saying
god,
like
what is
you
one?
know
What's 10? Oh god.
that way people will understand when you throw out
Wonder
a 7
Woman is 1 for
where?
me.
Whoa,
1984.
wait, the first or 1984?
1984.
Okay,
Okay, I was
I
about to
agree
say.
Hands
completely. Yeah,
down.
that's
Okay. Uh,
And sorry. I was about to say the high bar for me would probably be Man of oh god, hold up.
Man of Steel.
Wait a minute,
I
because
can
I
yeah.
get I
think
can get down with
it
that.
kinda got Man of Steel by a little bit. So I can't put it too high.
I don't know. I think as far as the DCEU with if we're not encompassing like Nolan's Batman because it's kind of not in the
Yeah.
super
Right.
world. They're very realistic street level. If
Grounded.
you take those out, I would say Man of Steel is probably the best follow. So you got to give him like a 10. Then okay, so we know Black Adam falls in about 7.5. So he's
Mhm.
pretty. Yeah, that rates. I mean, that's worthy of a
Yeah.
watch. You
Hmm.
know.
Yeah,
Let's
especially if
see.
you haven't seen it yet and you're like, I don't want to spend money, but HBO Max is about to get it,
Mhm.
so I'll just chill until then.
When's
Right.
that? Because I do have Max. Do you know when the
Probably in
date
Um,
like
is?
by like January, if anything, if not February.
Cool.
What
Uh,
about you, Cameron?
I know. I'm thinking. For number one, I would probably say Oh God, don't hate me, internet. Either 1984 or Suicide Squad by David Ayer.
Okay.
Is it your lowest?
Yeah.
That's pretty.
Granted, I still love Harley Quinn in it. Like there are people in it, and I
There's
love them,
people
Bingo.
but
who did a
still,
good
overall,
job. It's yeah, but
yeah,
overall, you're like, whew.
Yeah.
yeah.
hmm
And number 10 for 10, I would. God, that's really hard. Do we include the Batman or no?
It's hard because I
Mm,
mean I know that they're good DC movies, but they just
But not the DCU.
yeah,
they try to
it's Matt
step out of the
Reeves.
powered universe. You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
there's
yeah. For
Zack
number 10,
Snyder's Ben Affleck bats, and then there's Matt
Robert.
Reeves Pattinson. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I know. It was great though. But okay, for DCU, I would say number 10, uh, probably Man of Steel 2.
Okay. Okay.
yeah. Hey,
Do you
good
like it?
news. Then we also know good news that he's back. You know, he's gonna
Yeah.
stick with the role. So
the
Yeah.
world's
that's excellent.
greatest Clark Kent.
Yeah,
That's my dude. That's my dude.
But now we know kind of today is a double-edged sword, more
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Walter Hamada is gone, and he will never be able to tell Henry no again.
Exactly.
Praise God. Praise God.
That's probably why Henry was thinking about switching tomorrow. He was like, you know what, screw this.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
think he did.
you got a lot of between Kevin and Gunn and stuff that they like both. You know what I mean?
Right.
So neither of them are opposed to having people jump from both sides. So I see it in the future as, you know, you may see multiple roles, people, you know, being able to play other sides. Because honestly, when they mentioned Henry possibly being in the MCU, and I was automatically thinking like Doom, because I don't need to see his face, and I know he pulled it off.
Bingo.
You know?
That could be cool, though. That
He would
actually
make
be
a
a
good
really
Doom.
good thought. Yeah, that actually is a really good thought.
You know,
But,
so
I wouldn't be opposed to seeing his face either. But you know,
well, yeah,
And he will too.
he's a handsome
every
fella.
now and then.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to look at Rocket, look at Groot. You can pull it off where you have someone do a part, and you don't have to have him, you know, seen, and then he goes to DC, and it's like, hey, I just saw you.
Look at Taika. Look at Taika.
Exactly.
Freaking Vin Diesel is doing Groot, and
that's wild. Still,
freaking Vin Diesel. No other role in any like canon MCU cinematic universe, just Groot. That's crazy. Not DC, not Marvel. Well, Marvel as Groot, but that's it.
Right. D, what's your baseline for DCU? Well, 1 to 10. Like, what's 1 and what's 10?
What's bottom, what's top?
Oh, the absolute worst. I would be one of the douchebags that say Wonder Woman 84, but I actually didn't storm out the HBO Max during the movie. I saw it through,
which is why I struggled.
Streaming. You
that
kept
and
streaming.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
It'll have to be Suicide Squad or maybe even no, that's an asshole move to say Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
I won't do them like that. So maybe it was the original Suicide Squad with Cara Delevingne and some big green gorilla that calls himself Killer Croc.
Some big green gorilla. Wow.
They gotta stop associating reptilian characters with gorillas.
Granted,
stop doing that.
Granted, I understand they wanted to try to make Killer Croc look more real and like do all like the prosthetics and makeup, but look at how they make King Shark look in the Suicide Squad.
Everybody loves him.
If they can do that with him, they can do a much better job with Killer Shark.
Everybody loves King Shark.
And that's the thing. If you're gonna make a character like King Shark or Croc, there's gonna be levels of seriousness you can go to. Okay, certain you can't. I mean, obviously, King Shark is a prime example of don't go too serious and it works. You go way too serious and it falls apart. Unless you're gonna make him so dark that he's basically a villain. You can go with it if he's a villain, but if you're walking the line like Suicide Squad, you got to make him have a punchline too. That's still, which I think they tried a little bit with Croc.
It didn't work,
but not enough to save it. Not enough. You know,
All I saw
No.
was a gorilla telling a joke, man.
yeah.
Oh, Gorilla Grodd.
Yeah, his
And-
Planet of the Apes, the green
Yeah.
version. Like what?
and what's your number 10, D? What's your number 10?
So, my absolute worst officially will probably be OG Suicide Squad.
And so
And your top dog. Which
Top
is
My
your
dog.
top dog, Man of Steel.
Okay.
Okay.
The
All in the
the
same
Nolan
mindset.
Superman.
Well,
Yeah,
since we said Man of Steel is up there, then I'm gonna rescore Black Adam, and I'll put him at a solid 8.
Okay.
Then
closer
Yeah.
closer to Man of Steel. Yeah, because I mean we're going. You got to be fair if we're going. We're not comparing Black Adam to Infinity War and Endgame.
No.
Because
Yeah.
that they had
Yes.
10 years of building for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So of course
Big
they're going to be on
time.
the top end of your chart, but it's unfair. You know, they did
Oh, yeah.
solo movies, they did crossovers, they
Mhm.
went the whole route. So if you're looking at Black Adam, you got to pitch him against something that's equal in the amount of time. So
Yeah.
Man of Steel, I think, is pretty equal, and that's fair. You know,
Mhm.
hey, he's an 8 in the DCEU. That's a good call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't figure my order out, but I know somewhere up in that top 3 or 5, like I gotta have my Aquaman, gotta have Man of Steel, gotta have the first Wonder Woman.
First Wonder Woman, yeah,
Yeah,
I can agree with
and
all that.
then
yeah. I think she holds 8 for me. Like
big time.
she is the you know, yeah, because
8.
she carried it for me for
Yeah.
giving DCEU a chance.
Oh,
Because
God.
Blade.
Batman, Superman really made me angry.
Yeah,
And
big
then
time. Martha.
I love
Martha,
Batman. I love
why
Batman.
did you say that
I'm like,
name?
he's the smartest. He's the greatest detective in the world. Okay, and for some reason he didn't know the dude's mom's name. All right, and he believed a guy who flies around and shoots laser beams with his eyeballs is going to need a bomb to blow up the Senate.
He just, I don't know. He just thought imminent threat more than like person with a
didn't
mother.
think.
But
We're
yeah,
talking
I
about
know.
a guy who preps and
Why
thinks
did you say
everything.
that name?
He
You know,
kept it. He kept his mind on Jennifer Lopez, so I kind of I don't blame him for that. I kind of don't blame him for that.
He
No
gets his
more.
mind
I
on
mean,
Catwoman.
there's still a badass fight scene. You know,
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
I get
Yeah,
it, but
yeah.
that's not
like
the
the
Batman I
ending-
know doesn't shoot a tracker on a car and then chase it in a high speed chase. Like you just shot a tracker. You don't need to chase. You got your little. There it goes. No, this Batman's like, I may have planted a tracker, but I'm gonna go knock cars off the road anyway. Just
Yeah, like, what if I lose him? You just
Yeah.
put a tracker on it.
he already did. He put a tracker.
Yes,
on it.
hey,
Maybe
Batman,
Maybe
you
make
got-
it look like he was still chasing. I don't know.
I
But
don't know.
but
So,
all in all, I still do very much like Ben Affleck as Batman.
oh yeah, yeah.
You know what I
That's-
want to do one day, man? I want to pick a movie and just roast it on stream just one day. I just want to roast the crap
We
out of the movie.
we can do that. We can find a time to do that.
Oh, absolutely. Because I mean, there are so many to pick from, and even the ones that if we go back now, and we're like, man, that was really good. Like I've gone back and watched Avengers, the first Avengers again, and you're just kind of there's moments where you're like, you
That
know,
makes no
maybe
sense.
we liked that when it came out, but now I'm looking back at it like,
Or like when
Yeah.
people go back and like, that's my secret. I'm always angry. Then why
Yeah.
did you Yeah, a lot of people will be like that.
yeah, little
Uh,
holes that showed
oh.
up earlier.
Little
That,
nitpicky holes.
but I mean,
But-
that takes more nitpicking than Batman v Superman. I mean,
Yes, it does.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That- whew.
Eric, did you have any more questions about like Black Adam in general or like anything like that?
As far as my knowledge of Black Adam, like I said, is not the biggest, but I remember the animated DC movie with Shazam and Superman. Now, my question is, this is a huge debate. We've probably all heard it 100 times on social media. Superman is it a vulnerability or is it not a vulnerability to magic? Is he just, it affects him like it affects everybody else? So,
That's one.
or is
of
it that
them-
it actually makes him weaker to fight someone versus magic?
Right.
Because then it
No.
makes the future expectation of possibly fighting Black Adam a much more serious
a
event.
better fu-
Not
yeah.
necessarily weaker, but he is more vulnerable to magic than he is
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
bullets or like swords or like anything like man-made. Because
So, yeah,
Yeah.
they could go toe to toe for a little bit,
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But-
But then,
Then
yeah,
Tef
Superman
gonna
will-
come
yeah.
through with the hits, and
Right,
Tef been
but-
fighting
and-
longer than him too.
But if
Go ahead.
anything, magic is more so Adam's like possible kryptonite too, because they even like show that he can be vulnerable to magic himself, like in the movie.
Mm.
But so yeah, it it just depends. So yeah,
I
Yeah,
got
I'm
it.
glad you mentioned that because the freaking they introduced a weakness to Black Adam and did nothing with it. That
well,
was
yeah,
Yeah.
funny.
well, yeah.
That was funny.
Is it like for a keep that in my pocket for one of the future movies where I'm going to need to
Yeah,
be able to
maybe.
stop him?
Yeah.
You know,
All right, I
so
got one more
And you don't
question
need that.
before we switch topics.
Mhm.
This is probably gonna piss a lot of. I know it's gonna mess with different people, but all right. Yes, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go there. Doctor Fate versus Doctor Strange.
Oh,
Uh, Based on the comics, just in general, because we didn't see like the full scope of
Yeah.
him in the movie, I would probably go Fate over Strange
Okay.
because he's he's just as versed and just like in magic and older and wiser. Not to mention, he's literally possessed by a spirit, a Lord of
he's
Order.
like an avatar, right? Like
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah, an avatar for an embodiment of true magic. So
Yeah.
absolutely, he could absolutely whoop Strange's butt.
I think there's stages of Strange that you could say, hey, if he was in this form, he might be more of a challenge because
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
Strange has multiple like events, like especially when you go back to like the what was it again? That what they call it when the worlds were collapsing on each other?
Incursions?
The incursions.
The
Yes,
incursions.
incursion.
Mhm.
You run into where Strange steps into a different dimension, and Strange actually is a darker version of himself there, where
Yeah.
he covers his face, but he is a million times more powerful as that Strange.
Yeah.
He's able to stop an
definitely.
incursion as that Strange, which
Yeah.
Right.
that you're talking about the multiverse falling in on each other, and he's able to stop it as that version of Strange.
yeah.
So it's who you would pit together, I guess, because Fate on an average day, if the two of them were just their base models walking along,
Yeah.
I think Fate would smoke him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's more the instantaneous magic user, where Strange is more the I'm going to conjure this. I've got a plan. I've got to use this. I got to use that.
Mhm.
Fate's more like boom, magic
Go.
out of my just a thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strange is more I'm working on it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to call the tentacles of this and the
Yeah.
light of
Right.
that, and it's more of a building.
A gradual.
Yeah,
Not
sorcerer, but
immediate.
Yeah.
it all depends. Like the Eye of Agamotto is different.
And I
does it
will
have
say
it? Does it
this.
not have it?
And like 100% power of each of them. Yeah, they are a very good matchup. Like it would be a challenge for Fate, but
Mhm.
not impossible for him to do.
Yeah,
it.
like someone said, does Strange have the time stone in this scenario? Because that would make a huge. So it's a lot of outside factors, but
He
just
could
base
have the
guys.
time stone, but at the
No.
same time, like the helm of Naboo, like it gives Fate that ability to do the same thing as the time stone.
Yeah,
Right.
he can fool around with the time.
So it's
He
a
has,
passive for Fate, you know what I'm saying, to transcend time and space. Whereas Strange would need the time stone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and yeah, most iterations of Dr. Fate, you don't see him with the artifacts that he uses either. So a lot of his feats came without the artifacts. If he had the artifacts too to match Strange's
Yeah.
artifacts,
Yeah, you're talking like dimensional warfare here between the two.
Yeah.
It would be epic.
yeah,
Oh,
I would
God.
love to see that though. To be honest,
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
that would be
I mean, they'd be
amazing.
battling through the astral plane, the
Holy.
mental plane, everything all together. It'd be crazy.
Yeah,
But-
Fate was pulling off feats, Fate was pulling off feats with just the helmet alone, and now he has a host body that. Fortunately, once he maxes out, the body will die, but
Yeah, eventually.
Ain't nothing
But for
standing
the
in his
time
way.
being, he's just
Ain't nothing
invulnerable,
standing in his way.
immortal.
Yeah,
Immune
I think
to
that's
all
the case with a lot of
diseases.
the characters. It all depends on the iteration, except for if we were to, like I said, if you stayed just base, like if it was Battle World and you're just taking the base Fate,
Mhm.
the base Doom or base Strange,
Artifacts equals
then I
spells.
think Fate wins because he's not as dependent on books and
Artifacts.
artifacts and items, and he doesn't need all that to boost him, buff him.
And if he does get a boost, it's going to be a fucking nightmare, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His boosts are nothing to be trifled with. Like,
Especially when you can go toe to toe with the Spectre, who
Yeah, he's
again
accessorized.
is the
Ooh, that's
embodiment
true.
of
That's true.
not
Strange is
Spectre.
all about the steed.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Fate, he was doing all of that stuff without his artifacts. Like there's some occasions where he'll have one and use it, but like if he ever pulls the book out or the amulet,
Oh
man, come
Game
on,
over.
that dude is a nightmare. The fact that he showed up in live
Yeah.
action with the half helmet,
that was a nerf.
yeah,
That was
like,
definitely a nerf. Because if he had the full helm, it'd probably be over just like that.
Because then he's pretty
Oh,
much
yeah.
Nabu in personified, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
At that moment. So
Yeah.
Yeah, they would have ended Black Adam so quick and then changed the name of the entire movie. Like, bro, come on, man.
Dr. Fate.
and
Black
that
Adam
might be part of it.
versus
That might be
Fate.
part of it.
Yeah,
It's something to keep there,
Oh, man.
So it's always good to power scale your hero too, because you don't want to set up Black Adam to where it's uninteresting, because now you have it. There's options out there. He's not impervious, because that's where Superman has a struggle. Is like Superman's hard to make face a real credible threat. You're like, it's Superman.
It's like, who's gonna fight this guy, man? Come on.
So
Right.
they did a good job with Fate being there, because then you saw there are powers out there that can stop Black Adam.
Yeah, that little inter gang, whatever they call him, shooting that missile at him, and that took him out. Like, dang. And it's kind of sad, like, not seeing him, like, knowing that probably not anytime soon that him and Shazam aren't gonna trade blows, because that's his arch nemesis.
Right.
Textbook on
I think
paper.
they building up to it.
Unless they like have him show up in like a post-credit scene in Fury of the Gods, which could happen, but I don't know. I mean, the closest cameo I've heard like for Shazam is Wonder Woman like appearing, which would make sense since she's like basically she's an Amazon and the villain's supposed to be like the daughters of Atlas the Titan. So so she would know a bunch about that. But yeah,
because friggin' Shazam, he's gonna need a buff like big time before he meets Dwayne, because Dwayne's already slowing down time, tossing tanks and stuff. It's just like,
and right now Shazam is just not on that level.
He's not.
Well, that's basically, they've had the first movie and this new one to build and show his growth. So hopefully by the end of this new one, you'll have an idea that, hey, Shazam is maybe not as powerful, but he's ready to step up. No longer street level.
And Shazam gets more dangerous the more mature Billy Batson gets. So the more mature he gets, he cuts all the goofiness out, and he's just like,
if he gets serious, he can definitely go toe to toe.
Oh man, especially like if you've seen the animated movie where like Superman and Shazam team up. Team up was almost completely unnecessary. Like in comic books, that would have been a full drag. Like, Black Adam was able to handle his own because of his strategy and his smarts. Like, I'm gonna separate Superman from Shazam, take them out one by one.
His battle IQ is
what is implied in that movie too is Superman's pretty unaware of what Black Adam is capable of or anything. So he kind of goes in blind and doesn't expect to be facing someone of that stature that could actually stand up to him. Because I mean, you're Superman. You don't fly in thinking, yeah, this guy might rock me. You fly in thinking, I'm trying not to hurt anybody.
He was just like, wait a minute, you can breathe ice? What?
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, bro, you want to see something else? I got laser beam eyes, and like, bro, I got some nice tricks I can show you. It's like, dang, dude, Black Adam's about to have a very bad day.
Oh Lord. I guess we'll see what happens. Anyone who out there watching, just like if you like haven't comment on like, you want to see Black Adam 2, you want to see Doctor Fate movie, or anything from this movie, comment, let us know, because we want to hear from you guys too. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Now that we've spent about almost an hour on this
An
topic,
An hour exactly.
it's all good. We ready to move on to the next topic? D, what you got?
Yeah, so we'll probably keep this one. We won't make this one nearly as long as Black Adam was, but we'll try to get through House of the Dragon pretty fast,
It
and
helps
then
that I have
cover
not
some.
watched. It helps that I
I
have not
only
watched
got a
any.
couple good. I only got a couple things to say about it.
Yeah,
Deontay
Eric,
probably
have you
already
watched any of
knows.
the House of Dragon?
I
Yeah,
know.
I've watched it all. I stopped watching it, and then I finished it for my brothers here because
Yeah.
I wanted to be able to give a real opinion. So I decided I'd finish it. Um, did you watch Game of Thrones, Cam?
I no,
Oh,
I no, I was not in like the scope of Game of Thrones like when it was on, and
okay.
I'm sure I'll watch it eventually. I mean, I know basically a lot, like some of the characters and all what happens, especially about the ending, which I
I
know
would
how
say
tragic
this
and
is a good
horrible it
starting
is for
point.
the
Yeah,
fans.
yeah.
But I know enough. I know the gist of it. But still,
Like
one
this
day
is
I will
the
probably
prequel,
watch it. But
so there's no rush. You
yeah,
can watch this one and then watch Game of Thrones afterwards.
Yeah, it's not like you had to
right.
know one to the other. It's
Right.
Yeah,
House of Dragons is basically like
Before
5,000 like centuries before Game of
like
Thrones, like
200 years, I think.
500 years. There you go.
yeah. I'll
And
probably come back on this subject a little bit later on. Like for all the book readers, I know Gibby's one of the book readers. Kelvin's a book reader for
Mhm.
it. We'll probably do like a book reader episode for it.
Okay, yeah.
And probably talk about stuff that happened in the book versus what happened in the show because the
don't rush
direction
it.
was beautiful. That the directors handled it a whole lot better than the old directors that handled Game of Thrones. And
That I do agree with. They're doing a lot more to try to uh, be true to the source
Yeah,
material, and
yeah.
if they got to change it, they change it in a way that makes sense and tries to keep the fans happy at the same time. Like, hey, we got to make some adjustments because one, you're not only dealing with fans, and that's one of the things I always try to say with when you're dealing with people who are always yelling out canon, like we were joking about earlier.
yeah,
Yeah, but your real fans versus casual fans. Real fans do not make enough. We don't make enough. There's not enough of us for it to be a strong enough base to keep a series or movie or whatever going.
right,
Okay, you got to have the casual buy-in, and if
right,
they can't make certain exceptions to let the casual buy-in happen, just like with Game of Thrones, if they made Daenerys 13 years old or 14 years old when she met Drago,
Oof.
you would have dropped half of your casual fans right
Yeah.
there. You would have been like,
Oh,
you would have lost me. I would have been like,
yeah.
Me
can't
too,
do it,
man.
No,
So
nuh-uh.
there has to be some exceptions made, and I think that they're doing, like you said, they're doing. The directors are putting in the effort. They're putting in the work to keep it going, to keep it, making sense, and still keeping the fans and the casuals, interested.
Right. Because this freaking House of the Dragon, the crew behind this series put so much TLC into this show, and it's just like it's so hard for me to complain because they reference their source material like they're supposed to, but they kind of take all the mysteries that weren't solved from the book and solve them with the show. I thought that was so cool, and like the mystery behind Eamon's eye slashing situation, which was actually a fight between all the kids. Like that was, and then Damon's wife, I can't remember her name, but it actually showed him killing her when we didn't know that he killed her
Yeah.
per se. So it's the directors they kind of wanted to do a little fan service here and there,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
they I am not displeased with it. Like even if someone were to go on record and say that this non-canon, it might as well be. It's that good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. time to write it in as canon then,
Right.
because they did a job of filling in the gaps with believable scenarios that add to the story, not detract from it. So whenever that happens, I think it's easier to buy in and keep the fan base happy. Because like if let's say you're doing anything with Star Wars or anything that has a huge fan base, Lord of Rings, if you're gonna make changes, make it a believable scenario buy-in that adds to the story or makes it carries it forward, not detracts or simplifies. Or I think that's where certain ones go wrong. In House of the Dragon, they haven't made that mistake. They haven't made the mistakes of how I feel like the Star Wars, the new trilogy that came out.
Mm-hmm. They want to like go a different direction with new characters and all that, and it's just
and
like
a
little bit
you
unnecessary.
detract from the story, you're going to lose. If you try to just take what you got and add to it and make it a better scenario, you keep going. And I think that's what they're doing. House of the Dragon, they really, like you said, the crew, the directors, the actors, they all seem like they want to do it real service.
Yeah. And George R.R. Martin himself is just like, yo, man, like the guy, Patty Considine is a better Viserys than the one that I wrote. Like,
man, that guy deserves an award.
Oh my God.
I was just like,
that episode had me in tears. I was in
my heart, bro. My heart.
I felt everything. And
especially tried so hard to make right, to try to show them what is important,
family.
Especially
he's literally dying in front of them, and he's telling them like, look, man, this is what you got. This is all that we got.
And it almost worked too. It almost worked.
Yeah, it almost worked.
My favorite part was when he was walking up to the throne, and he didn't want no help. He was like, "No, I got this." And he was walking up there. He stumbles. His crown falls off, and then someone picks the crown up, and you're like, "Who the heck? Who is this?" It's his brother.
Damon.
It's his brother, man. Like, and he's like, "Come on, you got this, bro. You got this." Puts the crown back on his head. I'm like, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
Yep.
That's where I started tearing up at first. I was like, man,
dude,
his brotherhood. Such a turbulent relationship between, and they did a good job with it. And I think, Cam, when you finally watch it, you'll see a lot of this season, the first season of the show, it's carried by the interactions of characters on a very subdued level. So you got to read in between the lines, like between the relationship between the brothers, relationship between best friends, mom or married couples. It's all that. So where you would have gotten suspense and the draw and the everything, the turmoil that you would from other stories, you've got to kind of read in between the lines of relationships in here to get that. Right. And it's very different than Game of Thrones in that aspect. Is in Game of Thrones, you were given this whole political drama unfolding from houses and families and war and weapons and politics. This is more of a what's behind their eyes, what's behind their words when they say certain things. What's the
Game
feeling?
of Thrones? Game of Thrones is more story driven. House of the Dragon is more character driven.
Yeah. Because you have so many characters in Game of Thrones, you had to be driven by an overall arc.
Right.
Whereas in House of the Dragon, you're dealing with this bloodline and its movement. So there it's very, character centric. It's like, hey, we got to show you why should you care what Viserys thinks. Why you should care, why he made that move. Did he make that move out of love for his brother? Did he say these things because he wants to keep his family together? Or is he, so it's interesting. It's definitely different, but in a good way when it comes to those things. If you're the type of person that likes to see those battles of wits and so forth on an unseen level, then it's a show you would enjoy.
It's a well-written screenplay. It's very well written, and excuse me. Yeah, but like you can watch it casually and really enjoy it. Going in not knowing nothing about the book or Game of Thrones, and you'll probably catch on quick.
Yeah,
They made it that easy for people. Viserys and Daemon, like two of the coldest brothers in fictional
Man.
history.
And their relationship with each other is so realistic.
True
Yeah.
They'll
brotherly.
argue, they'll fight, but at the end of the day, they still brothers and they still love each other. You
Hmm.
know, and they're gonna be there for each other.
And
It's,
Damon's done some wild shit.
And
I
they
He's done
swear,
some wild shit.
and the
they got
reason,
much more hanging over their head than just family,
yeah,
just
Mhm.
two normal brothers. They got a throne
Mm.
that's,
the reason
one
why,
that's sitting on it and one that could have been the
yeah,
follow-up to sit on it. So you got the a level of conflict between them that's unspoken, and it's it would drive you to feel that one could betray the other so quickly that you
Yeah.
watch each of their interactions and you're like, is this betrayal or love? Is
and it's
this
all of
and
it.
it's tough.
But
Yeah, you got
I think that's the scene I was talking about earlier with Damon and Viserys. It hit me so hard because I ain't trying to get sentimental, but it made me think of the relationship between me and Deontay, like how we'll be at odds with some things and we'll we'll bump heads and good.
y'all was fighting a fruit fly.
No, we'll bump heads, but at the end of the day, man, it's all love. That's how I knew like Damon wasn't doing things out of hatred. He wasn't doing things because he was gonna betray his brother. It was out of pure love, and he was looking
Hmm.
out for his brother. You know what I'm saying? He could see the snakes around him,
Oh
and he
man.
really he was like he was trying to prevent you know, his brother from, succumbing to a very dark, ending and
Yeah.
fate because yeah, they would have killed him for sure if
Hmm.
Damon went around. Um, but yeah, that's why it kind of hit home for me, man. I'm like, you know, that's cool. That's really
It's
cool.
crazy. His family was looking out for him so hard because what's her name? Rhaenyra and Daemon, they could see the snakes, but Viserys couldn't. And
Yeah,
like
I don't know
he
if
was
it wasn't that. I don't know, and I think like someone just put on there that the series was crazy. There are very few people on screen that can with that much strength and dignity, and I that right there is perfect for me because I think Viserys saw a lot more than Daemon and Rhaenyra gave him credit for, but the way he dealt with it is he's the king of peace. You got to remember that's what
yeah,
he's famous for is a period of peace.
just
Okay,
like his
under him,
dad.
he was able to maintain peace, and I think that was his big focus. He knew he's never going to be the king, like the conqueror, like Aegon. Okay,
Hmm.
he's never going to be the warrior like his brother. All right, that's not his path.
Right.
But he was good up here, and he was good at. He made people feel like feel their place and want to be that place. Do you know what I
Right.
mean? In a sense.
Mhm.
So even though, as we all see, spoiler moment, High Towers had different, I don't know what you call.
Different
He had things he wanted
Ambitions.
to achieve, yeah,
agenda.
ambitions. But at the same time, I feel like all of them around him that wanted change, they still respected and felt for the series in a way that they didn't want to betray him, even to the day he's dying. I mean,
Hmm.
Otto never made a move against him.
yeah,
He could
At
have. This
all.
guy's dying. He's rotting in the next room. I
He
could go
yeah,
put a pillow on his head when everyone's gone.
put
He's
him out
done
of his
for.
misery. Like, yeah,
You know,
Dark.
he didn't.
yeah,
So they respected him in a way that Damon and Rhaenyra don't understand. They respected him from his dignity,
right.
quiet strength, a power to keep the realm together. Just like
Mhm.
Princess, what's her name? Rhaenys
Right.
or
right.
Rainey's or
Rhaenys? Yeah.
yeah.
She respects the goal of keeping the realm together.
Yeah,
He
Right.
understands what the throne is for, where Daemon doesn't understand the throne is more than just ruling. The
yeah,
throne is the throne is the health and wealth and prosperous of your whole country,
Right.
the whole place, not just respect my authority. You know what I mean?
He,
huh.
That's
he
the
was so
difference.
cool
Guards high.
about that. Like, cause he was a dad first. He I arguably could say he's one of the best TV dads in the game. Like
Oh, damn,
he went so hard for his daughter.
For his daughter, yeah.
Oh my
Like,
god, bro!
I would
Like,
have to agree with the comment. You know what I'm saying? He was a little frustrating at times. Like,
yeah,
dude, you clearly see this playing out before your eyes, but you're still choosing not to take action. And that's what that I think that's the perfect like that was the perfect dynamic between Damon and Viserys.
exactly.
Viserys was like, hey, let's try this first. But then you had Damon, the enforcer. If that didn't work, he'll gladly cut your head off.
sin him,
Mhm.
He got no
Sin 'em.
problem doing it.
Full sin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's a
Yeah.
necessary balance. So
It
when
is.
Damon would throw a fit, or not throw a
Yeah.
fit, but do something dumb and
Mhm.
had to leave, he weakened that balance
Yeah.
inadvertently. It wasn't his goal,
No.
but in a way, he weakened the balance, and Viserys had to kind of work things to make it continue to be strong. Okay,
Yeah.
Right.
every time Damon did something stupid that threw him out of favor, Viserys had to work twice as hard. And what we see as
Oh, man.
frustrating is Viserys trying to maintain. I'm trying to keep the Sea Snake happy. I'm trying to keep Otto happy because I got to have Old Town. I got to have those people. I got to have Sea Snake. Damon doesn't understand. You can't just stand up and tell Otto to shut the fuck up. Okay? Even if you need to, you should. Even if
Right.
he's got, like, man, that guy's an idiot.
Right.
But at moments, you got to be
Snaky.
like, I need both of them to work together. I need it to work
Yeah.
right now.
I
And
think
he had his family too to balance
Mhm.
all of that. Like you finally got someone to succeed Emma as your wife, and now you
Mhm.
got to pump babies out of her. It's like, hey, these stroke that, okay. And then he had to manage them like politically as a father, and it's just
and
like,
I
dude,
think I don't know how smart of a move it was though when he did kick Damon out of the kingdom because
Yeah, it wasn't good. He
Damon
didn't want
seen
to.
Damon. What I don't think what Viserys understood is Damon seen the manipulation and he was just trying to tell him, "Hey, bro, this is about to happen, bro, and you
mhm.
can't just sit there and not do nothing about it because
Yeah.
I know you want to be peaceful and you want to
Yeah.
be,
I mean, you're
political,
right. I
whatever."
don't think he wanted to kick him out though, Will. I think like honestly, he would have preferred Damon stay at his side. That's
Facts.
why he created the whole job of the City Watch for Damon. He
Mhm.
gave him an army. And he's
Put
like,
him.
I need you here, brother. I need you here to keep things in order. But you can only lose so much face in front of the other people at the council. And when Damon questions him or when Damon does something brash, he can't sit back and ignore it. He can't go, oh, what are you talking
Yeah.
about? Damon killed who? Damon did what? Damon stuck his thing. What? You can't just constantly do that because eventually the council would lose faith in him as
Mhm.
king.
Yeah, but at the
Damon
same
forced
time,
himself out of the capital because the whole
Yeah,
purpose of the
I get
night
it.
or the City Watch or whatever was for Damon.
Yeah.
They even complained to Viserys, and he was like, "I did this for my brother. You guys said I could do this. It was that's
But
what he's good at. You know,
also,
Freaking
it was kind of manipulation because they knew if Damon were around Viserys all the time, they couldn't manipulate Viserys the way that they wanted to.
Yeah, you're right.
So
That's why it's a double-edged situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, the closest anyone's gotten to him was Otto because he used his daughter to get in bed with him. It was
Yeah.
just like, and literally, like,
Yeah,
gee,
It's like,
like,
oh,
you
that
know
poor
what?
girl, man.
You
you're
spread
16. You better
on.
do your duty. Like,
Yeah, you
Oh
spread
my
on.
god, I feel
Jesus.
sorry for her.
And
Oh,
it cracks me up about Viserys because the Corleys was just like, why don't you marry my daughter? And she's like a freaking preschooler. And he's
Yeah,
just like, oh,
right.
hell no, bro.
yeah,
He's like, that's where I draw the line.
yeah. It's
That's,
like, she's
screw
still
all
finger
that.
painting.
No,
This date is not going
bro.
well. It's
The
not a
wheels
good
on the
date.
bus do not go round and round over this. Nuh-uh.
Right.
No, sir.
I'm good, man. I'm good.
He's
bro.
like, oh, you want to have a drink? Oh, wait, you're 11.
Yeah,
do
like,
that
no.
Oh God.
You want to
Oh,
play
God.
patty cake?
It's like, bro, I felt so bad for him when everyone's trying to get him to marry people. He's just like, he's like, yo, look, man, my wife just died. Like, you could tell he loved his wife.
That's the
loved
thing
her,
that the
man.
show
He
does good.
loved
It makes you
her.
And when
It
she
makes you
passed,
see
he didn't
things
want to
from the
go any
character's
further, but they
perspective.
kept pushing it, you know?
Viserys' facial expression said it all. He was like, "Yeah, you should marry my 10-year-old daughter."
Like, you lost your mother. Man.
Who you talking to?
What?
Who you talking to?
You lost your mother.
Not a 10-year-old, I hope. Oh, God.
He's like, "You got me all the way fucked up."
No.
I don't care if it makes the bloodline stronger, bro. I ain't doing no kid, bro. What?
Well,
I look like John Wayne Gacy to you, bro. What the
it's gonna
fuck
make
is
that
going
jail
on,
stronger
bro?
too. Like, do I look like a no?
You know what they do to sex offenders, bro? I'm
Now,
good.
yeah. Oh,
No.
now that we covered all of that and like somewhat crossing trepidatious waters, what are you guys hoping and expecting to see whenever season 2 comes out in like a year and a half? Be it.
That's the dance, baby. The dance.
Oh yeah, the dance of the dragon.
Oh, gotta see the dance, man. I tell you, like, you're gonna see a lot more Damon, a lot more Corlys, and I tell you, these fights are gonna be glorious. Everything people's been begging for. It was like, how come Game of Thrones is like this with House of Dragon? Because House of Dragon needs to build up. It absolutely needed to build up. The political build up, the family build up, and now everybody is staged where they're supposed to be. Now we can get into the crazy shit because we like me, Gibby, and Kelvin. We were all like, I wonder if this is going to happen in the season finale, and what episode would this happen? And most of the stuff that we try to predict didn't happen in season 1, and that's okay. That turned out great. Like they paced it so well that it's just like, okay, now I'm kind of like excited because season 2 is about to slap that much harder. And because what we're used to with Game of Thrones is just like episode after another, somebody's clapping cheeks and in the brothels and
Betrayal,
then
sex,
betrayals,
murder, like dragon on fire.
Character you're rooting for ends up dying. It's just like, man, this
ancestry.
Someone given the little finger.
Dire Wolf.
Like I said, I know enough to at least make a joke or two.
Right. Yeah. They haven't even got anywhere close to the story of the White Walkers yet. But you know, Aegon's dream, but that kind of dives into the book a little bit too, about like dragons being like the solution to help save them from what's north of the wall. And it's just like they barely touched on that period in season 1. And I liked how that turned out. I really like that.
I feel like I'm not a book person. I didn't read the books. I mean, I read the cliff notes. Let's just say that. Like,
that's fair.
I went with what I needed to read from fan sites.
This 800-page book.
Yeah. I feel like that they did really good. I think I agree with a lot of people, fans who are book fans, like Jen, who would have preferred to see the fall of Valyria heading into this. Okay, before they got to this, because that was what a lot of people loved about the whole story of the Targaryens, is their flight from the ancient kingdom, how it happened, how that doom happened, what happened. Then they come here, and a lot of people, I mean, you spent time, if you liked Game of Thrones or if you read Song of Ice and Fire, you spent time learning about, legends about Aegon the Conqueror, about his sisters, about how the dragons came through and took over Westeros. You learn, you keep hearing all these references through Game of Thrones. You're like, man, I wish I could watch that. And it kind of jumps that section. So a lot of people who wanted to see that were like, oh, I wish they would have put that in. Not taking anything from House of Dragon. They did an excellent job with the series. But I think that would have been fire. That would have been, people would have loved that. I mean, you're talking about mysteries of the doom of Valyria is people talk about all the time in the show. They're like, oh, the doom of Valyria. But you never hear what happened. You never know. And you're like, damn it, I want to know how Aegon took a few dragons and his sisters and came over and whooped everyone's ass. The whole continent is under Aegon the Conqueror. You're like, this guy is everybody's naming their 10 children after him. Is Aegon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? That's Aegon 10. I mean, you didn't get to see any of that. So, like I said, not to detract from the show and what I project for the next season will bring a little bit more of that excitement that people may have wanted to see with the backstory of Aegon and his sisters. But I am still more of a Game of Thrones fan. Not for the last 2 seasons because that was garbage. But as far as the books, the song books, there's a lot more sabotage, subversion, plots and politics and diplomacy and war, all of that because you're dealing with more houses than one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here you're primarily focused on one. So hopefully next season, they started at the end of this season, the finale, they started talking about how each house is going to fall into line and where they fit. Okay. They already started mentioning things, which I asked Kate Lee and I asked Rob and I asked Deontay about in the very beginning. I was like, so who are the power players here? And you started to get that in the finale. You got the Lannisters got money and they hold a very important piece of land. You got the Old Town and the High Towers and, you got the Tullys over here. They started doing things that are moving more towards what you saw with Game of Thrones. The diplomacy, where people fit in the pieces, why you got to be nice to this guy. Why do I care about this guy? Who gives a shit about the Baratheons? This is why they're important. That was missing from the beginning of this season. But like I said, you don't miss it because the characters are so well done.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel they're going to keep that track going into the next season. They're going to keep on the character focus, very centric, but now they're going to start opening up the world a little more, little bits at a time, because you're not going to, now that you've gotten to this point, especially with the events at the very end of the finale, people are going to want to see justice. People are going to see action. People are going to see stuff happen. And they're going to need to start going outside of just showing you a dragon or two once every episode.
Oh yeah, it's definitely about to get crazy. So they putting in the hours to establish each and every single one of these characters. So season 2, like if you give season 1 like a high rating, season 2 should be like way over your head. I have no doubts about that because George R.R. Martin's so close to the screenplays that they're writing for it. And if he gives the thumbs up, then it's going to be fire.
What I'm waiting on is like what Deontay said, the Dance of the Dragons. I can't wait to see there's specific battles that I want to see, like the Red Queen versus Vhagar and I think it's Dreamfire, something like that. The two princes, what I mean? And like I'm waiting to see that, man. I can't wait to see that battle. I can't wait to see Daemon versus Vhagar and Aemon.
And Aemon,
that's gonna be a good one.
That's gonna be crazy.
Oh my god, that's probably gonna be the most anticipated though.
Yeah, most people that don't know, Vhagar is the largest she dragon in the game. She is a colossal calamity level.
But I'm gonna tell you, like, I wish we had got to see Balerion, the Black Dread. Like this dude, you think Vhagar was huge? This dude was probably, I think I want to say like at least twice, if not way larger. Like Vhagar's like this, and then you have Balerion, and he's like right here. Like, hold on, let me center this right here.
Yeah, I was wondering like how long it would take for us to meet Vhagar, and they immediately hinted to it by like episode 1, and freaking Corley's daughter mentioned it. It was like, where is Vhagar? And she would say like, there's rumor has it that Vhagar's chilling on the beach, and that alludes to so much more stuff too. It's like, people have seen it at a beach. I can't remember like what she said word for word, but it's just like when you see Vhagar, you cannot miss that.
Unless you're mistaking it for like
that is a flying mountain
or something.
That is a flying mountain.
Yeah. Oh no, Balerion was the flying mountain.
Oh my god!
I think what I want to see from second season is them actually go back and show, episode of flashback as to how we got here. How, like EJ said, how did the old king and his sister wives, how did they come over and take over? And which had a lot to do with their dragons and stuff. Of course,
Yeah.
yeah, nobody wanted to fight against Balerion because this dude could destroy a whole city by himself. Like just give him the word and that whole city is gone.
He was a combat master, bro.
Like this dude, his shadow, like when he flies over the city, his shadow covers the whole city. And I'm like,
And
that
then
is
some.
huge.
Mm-hmm. This is like, how do you tame a dragon that big and powerful?
How do you
bro?
fight that? Like, I would be too.
Maybe he was really small when they first
maybe.
Yeah, that's the truth because they definitely train them young.
Yeah,
it's just, but he's the demeanor of that dragon. It's like, bro, that's a mean dragon, bro.
He ate other dragons.
Well, Black jumped on and then disappeared. But I was going to ask, you've read the books, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where is Mac, man?
Back on. So, does the finale reflect the way that kicks off? Like, is that the piece that kicks it off for real?
You know what's crazy is that's kind of like a unsolved mystery that the directors solved. They threw that in the mix too, and I love how they executed it because like you don't get whole lot of imagery from the book on that chapter, but like if you see it for yourself, the look on Aemon's face is just like, oh fuck, I just messed up.
Like that was not my intention, but now I understand.
Yeah,
I'm commanding a dragon who's way more experienced, powerful, and knowledgeable than me,
and out of my league completely. Out of my league.
He decided at that moment that I don't give up what you say, Aemon.
Right, like if you thought you were going to completely 100% tame Vhagar, and she was just going to obey you without fail, like no, you got more work to do than that. You stole her from
that
her.
Was one thing, like I said, that's not in the book, and I wanted to ask you guys: do you feel that Lucerys's dragon attacked out of fear? Right, he didn't command it to attack; it attacked because it was scared.
Yeah,
and it thought this is all I can do is try to, get this beast off of me.
Vhagar was like, "Oh shit!"
Vhagar's like, "Oh,
did you just? Okay, I'm gonna bite you."
So basically, spoiler moment, Cam. I mean, I know you haven't watched it, but do you mind if we speak about the moment that Vhagar is as Will is described and Deontay is described is the largest dragon currently in the story. Okay,
right.
Lucerys is one of the princes, and he's very young, and he's riding a very young dragon, and it ends up being that between the two dragon riders, Aemon, who's lost an eye due to a conflict between them when they were younger, and Lucerys, which is like about a 12-year-old boy, they start chasing each other through the sky. Okay, Aemon wants to kick his ass because of what he did to him. All right,
or at least torment him mentally.
They lose the moment because both dragons start to fall into more of what I would say is an instinctual moment. Like Vhagar's like
dominance.
This cool until the smaller, younger dragon gets scared and tries to bring it to Vhagar, and Vhagar's like, I mean, handles the situation without the command of his dragon rider. So basically, normally the dragons only attack and do stuff when the rider gives them ancient words to say, use your breath, attack this, do that. So in this moment, it felt more, and I wanted to ask them because they read it and they've watched it. Did it seem like Vhagar just threw caution or threw all the rules out and was like, "Look, he hit me first.
I'm like, hey,
I'm gonna do it up."
I know I gave you permission to ride my back, but today you don't have no control over me. I'm about to do this.
I'm about to do it up.
I'm about to do this. And he just
and it was sad. It's terribly sad at the moment because you're watching a young boy get destroyed because of
two dragons being hard headed. Yeah, it is.
Oh boy.
One guy's prank to scare him gets so carried away it destroys him.
To
And
Vagar, this dude was a bite-sized snack.
yeah,
Just
I mean
chunk
he
and it's
Ha.
over.
yeah, he obliterates that smaller dragon in one fail attack. I mean, it's done.
It's
It's
like,
You know,
how
over.
do
so
you
you're just like, wow.
apologize for that? I put myself in Eamon's shoes, and I was like,
Eamon was
I'm
like,
I'm I'm
Mom,
sorry I got your son
Mom,
killed. No.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Aunt
he killed his
Rhaenyra. I am
cousin
so
basically, so
sorry.
he's gonna have to go home and say, "I killed my cousin."
and may have inadvertently started a war.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
man! And Rhaenyra is just like, no, fuck
it's
your
it's a
Oh,
apology.
it's
We
a
yeah.
terrible
good.
moment when you watch it, especially I'm a father, so it's just like watching a kid
Ooh,
die is terrible. It's
uh-huh.
terrible for anybody, but
You
it's,
know,
I have 3 little boys, so watching a little boy die, you're
yeah.
just like,
Whew.
They say hell has no fury like a woman scorned.
oh,
Hell
you
has
see
no
it,
fury
you
like
see it
a
on the queen's
mother
I'm sure we're
face,
scorned.
gonna
man.
see it. Oh
A
man.
pissed off Vagar.
Oh my
It
god.
is it is
I'm
something else.
more
Uh-huh.
like a pissed
It
off
is.
Renara.
Yeah.
Rhaenyra,
Man.
yeah.
Which shows like the previous writers of Vagar, it shows how badass they are.
Yeah,
Cause
you
like
must have
Damon's
Exactly.
been
wife.
the to
They
command him or
and
her.
Mhm.
It
then
must have been like, yeah,
you had Aemon, a little boy who's who stole this huge ancient dragon from the family that is used to controlling it.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So you thought that you were just gonna get it and it was just gonna obey you without fail and all that stuff. Heck no, you gotta put in more work than that.
Way more work.
You gotta put in your time, bro.
He should have knew
Like,
not to mess with Lucerius from the get-go. Like, bro, don't do it.
right, like
It just
no,
Yeah,
it
that
just sounds like a
dragon.
lot.
Mm-hmm.
it's good.
I'm,
It's
I'm
good.
sure
It's
I'm sure I'll
crazy
get in.
good.
I'm sure I'll get into that world eventually. I got enough on my plate right now.
If you
But
like, Lord of the Rings or what else that I could compare it to? What other good movies out there that I could compare it to? That
It kind of gives me Pirates of the Caribbean like structure and style a little
and then
bit.
you had the mythical creatures out there, and like if you
Mhm.
like stuff like that, you'll love uh the Game of Thrones series. But I would advise you because if you watch Game of Thrones first before watching the prequel, you may be turned off by the end of it.
Mhm.
So I
that's
would
what
say watch this.
I've heard and read. That's about every negative thing and comment about the ending. I would be completely prepared for it. I'm.
Okay.
It is what it is,
And Cam,
unless
you
they try
might
to go
like
back
it.
and change it.
I'm one of the rare people that likes the Game of Thrones ending. I had my complaints about it, but overall it was cool. Like,
Like I didn't hate it, but I didn't actually necessarily like it either.
yeah, Game of Thrones went so hard for so many seasons that when one freaking season goes a little sideways, the whole world just turned on Game of Thrones. Like, bro, like chill out.
Literally,
Like chill out.
Well,
You
the
don't
I
show.
mean, I guess from the get go, they didn't really necessarily involve George in it, and you had these two producers that had not read the book, none of that, didn't even do their research, and went by, I guess, what people told them or something, or Cliff Notes. You know what I'm saying? And so when you have that and they don't really follow the lore like that, and so some things are all off, yeah, you're going to have an angry crowd because
Yeah,
yeah,
they're fans of the book.
the
And
directors for the final season of Game of Thrones, they went behind George R. Martin's back and planned this. So
yeah,
everything you see is George R. Martin had no hand in that. So you can't
Mm.
blame George. Can't blame George.
right.
yeah.
But
Never
this
blame
one,
George.
he was all hands on.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's
George
good to
is
hear.
highly involved with House of the Dragon. I
Yeah.
love it.
Because he even he said like this here he no, you can't let nobody mess it up here because this sets the stage for so many other things that could happen. You know what I mean? This is like the base. This is the foundation. You cannot have a wonky foundation and think you're going to build a solid house on it without it falling. Like or as some people say, you can't build a house on sand. You know what
That's
I
Right.
for
mean?
sure. And
So
the Targaryen family, bro.
But
Targaryen. Yeah.
and I do also want to talk about one character in particular that, man, like, dude went down in history, bro. Dude was so cold, and like his dragon was probably the baddest dragon out of all of them. And I just want to talk about Dwayne Targaryen. One of
Called
the
Love Dragon. It's like,
one of the
Dragon.
best, the best.
The Adam
best.
Dragon.
Yeah.
The black Adam Dragon.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just attack with the dragon's elbow. It was like,
Yeah.
Can you smell?
Oh,
the
Lord.
Targaryens are cooking.
Hagar ain't got nothing on that dragon.
Oh man.
I had a
Yeah,
question
just
too. In the finale, was it the finale? It might have been the episode before. Okay, the white worm.
Oh.
Now, did they kill the white worm, or did they kill that servant that shows up at the servant that was leaking information from the
It
court?
was
They killed the network. They killed
Okay,
the
not
network.
her,
Yeah.
because I was like, it seemed to
Yeah.
happen too quickly and easily. I
So,
was like, the white
yeah,
worm.
I got confused on that part too because of the transition. I'm like, so did
Yeah.
they kill the white worm? But no.
Y'all about to see some shit in season 2.
Oh my god,
Y'all about to see some shit. Oh man.
I'm Team Black, man. I'm just saying, man.
Yeah, they thought they had it good, man. They thought it was like, oh yeah, Otto Hightower has got all the planning done, and we'll just be 10 steps ahead. No, you won't, bro.
Oh, you thought
You thought Damon wasn't watching you?
Oh, come on, Damon.
He
You
was
got the
watching
best
you, bro.
strategist right there. And you thinking like Otto is gonna out strategize Damon, who has no battle experience or anything like that? While Damon battle IQ
I don't
is
understand how
high.
Otto thought it was gonna go for the second time when he shows up at Dragonstone.
Yeah.
With the terms. I'm like, how did he think that was gonna? But I mean, I understand Alicent demanded that because she wanted to give an option for peace instead of war. Because I know Alicent at that moment still wanted the option of, hey, I don't want to kill my best friend and my cousins and they're my kids' cousins and everybody, you know, this family. So she was like, we're gonna give them terms regardless. But
Otto was like,
Otto was sabotaging the terms from the beginning. He didn't want them to take the terms. He's a
and
dick.
Damon was watching him the entire time.
Yeah.
Damon knew from the get-go he was a snake. He was like, man, Viserys, why is he your fucking hand? And
exactly.
Viserys finally put 2 and 2 together after like Rhaenyra said something.
Yeah.
And it was just like, damn, Otto's good for that, bro.
Yeah.
That shoot, Otto manipulated me with some good cuckoo. That's like, dang, bro. That's all that took to fold you. I ain't gonna be mad. I would have folded too, because
don't be like Sir Kristen though.
Well,
Oh,
man,
I can't stand this dude with a
simp Kristen. Simp Kristen.
If anyone, if I wanted to say Dracarys on anybody, it was on that fool.
Oh my god!
I can't wait till he get his though, man.
Man, he didn't even get the box yet, and he's just like, "I'm in love with you, Allison."
It makes no sense. You went crazy over some Nana.
He went crazy.
He got to have a fling with the princess, and then threw a fit about it.
Like
a whole fit, grown ass man too.
That good. Like there's other women out here.
He's down bad.
Down like that, I'll have what he's having. Anyways.
Now that I think about it, he was down bad because he sworn to chastity.
But still, though.
No, they can go and sleep with other people, right?
That would have made me just.
I don't think he can smash at all. You have to wed.
Yeah, no, you can't.
You have to be wed to get some nah. They sworn to chastity. When Mira gave him the nana, he was just like, "Oh, baby, I love you."
No king's guard for me. Then that's just that's a deal breaker.
I'd rather be a gold cloak.
Deal breaker. Sorry,
I'd rather be in the pleasure house, a full-time employee.
Bro. Gold cloaks got it made.
Oh man, I wish we had that discussion we had when we were going the pleasure house discussion. Rob and Kaylee and that one was That was fun.
We can save that for another time when all of them are together. If you guys want,
that was
That's
awesome.
selfish.
oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I couldn't exist in that world. I'd be in the
I'm
pleasure
just
house
saying.
24/7, just hoeing the.
I got a huge crush on the actor that plays Rhaenyra. Like when she's all dressed up, but out of the dress up, I don't
Woo,
understand what that is. I
woo,
mean, it's like how do
woo,
you
woo.
go from this to this? I'm
Maybe you're
confused.
attracted to the classiness, like the I don't know what you
Maybe,
call it, like the
maybe
She
you
has
might
that
be right.
motherly vibe coming off of her. She's a good mother
She's
for
sexy as
sure.
crap too, man.
Hmm.
well, they definitely picked actresses who portray that very well as the
Hmm.
mother of these future heirs to the throne kind of situation, but they convey a very motherly vibe. And I think me and Jen talk about that too. You think you could tell with a lot of actors and actresses whether they really have kids? Because when they play a
Yeah.
role where they're supposed to be a parent or take care of a kid, and it looks like they're holding a bag of Jello or something, and
Eh,
they're all like. But these two ladies seem to. I mean, I don't know if they have children, but they're pulling it off. That
I
they
don't know.
able to pull that role. That's good acting if they don't have kids. So,
really
Yeah.
strong motherhood vibes. Like, because
yeah.
Allison, the actress that plays her, both young and old, they both they flowed into it naturally. And then the actresses that played young and old Rhaenyra, they killed it too. It is just
Oh
like,
yeah,
bro, like it
they
was just
did.
constant, perfect casting.
And I
Like
remember,
who are we gonna pick to be Damon? And he said Matt Smith. Guess
yeah,
Matt Smith killed it, bro.
yeah,
You mean freaking Doctor Who and the evil best friend from Morbius? He's gonna be freaking
yeah.
Damon Targaryen.
Dude, I
Wow.
remember them interviewing the two women that played Rhaenyra and Allison, and they were talking about how they made the transition from the young to the older versions within a short period of time. What they
Mm-hmm.
did was the the women that played the older version would go back and play and rehearse the parts of the younger ones, and would
Mm-hmm.
kind of play as their younger selves and do the same lines and everything. They'll go through the same, dialogue and everything like that, just to get a feel of it and to, I guess, get where they're coming from, which made for a better acting. You know what I'm saying? That's a
Yeah.
good method right
So,
there.
question before we move on, my final question, I guess, for the finale: do you feel that they're going to be doing as many time jumps and fast forwards? Because when we ended with the exception of Lucerys, most of the kids are about in their teens now. So, I mean, do they need any more time jumps? Or are we expected to see the same actors and a lot of the stuff unfold with who we have present now, and no
From what
more
I
like, you know,
from what I hear from the producers, is like this was just to, set the stage to lead up to the Dance of the Dragons. This wasn't even the main course. The Dance of the Dragons is the main course, so they had to show like, okay, this is where it started, and so we have to go through the time jumps to age them up to where we get the
okay.
Dance of the Dragons. And
Yeah.
so there may be some times where they flash back to the past, which I'm hoping they do for what's the first king, what is his,
Aegon,
yeah,
Aegon the First.
okay, yeah, him, and maybe just one episode or something like that. But yeah, I think they're not going to do a lot of skipping, a lot of time skips in this one. It's just going to be
Yeah.
like,
They got one more to support the kids, but I think
yeah,
some of the adult actors that we've had so far, they're gonna stick around. I
mhm,
know Matt Smith is gonna stick around.
Yeah.
Uh, Olivia Cook should stick around, and Emma D'Arcy should stick around too. So
mhm.
we're guaranteed to
We
have.
still have Corliss, right? He's gonna stay.
Yeah,
Yeah, for a little bit. Yeah, yeah, you're gonna be around for a bit.
yeah,
And
they
the
aren't gonna
princess,
age him
the
to
princess who would be queen.
Queen that never was.
Yeah, the queen that
Yeah.
never was. That's it.
Yeah,
She's actually turned out to be one of my favorite people in the whole thing.
she
Oh, and a red
she's so
queen.
dope. Mm-hmm.
A
And I mean, a
dragon.
lot of people were like, "Why didn't she just say Dracarys and end it right
Right.
there?"
It could have
But I'm
ended
like,
a whole bunch of
that's
conflict right there.
that's her family too. She's watched her children die or be gone. Those are her nieces and nephews, and you know
Yeah.
she doesn't want to destroy the realm. She wants to unite the realm. So yeah, she could have
Yeah.
destroyed him, but I think that was a message when she pops up there with her dragon. She's letting them
Like,
know, remember this moment. I could have ended your future right now,
Whew,
and she
that,
leaves. So in a way, it's kind of like, just remember, I
whew.
had the chance to bury you all, and I didn't.
okay. Yeah.
That's
But I
one
don't
of
think
the.
I think it's going to fall on deaf ears with Otto and whoever
Yeah.
else. But I
Remember,
think it made an
mark my
impact with
words.
Allison.
Remember that I said this. Every action has consequences. I don't think that was a good idea.
That's one of the top 5 greatest shit-ons in all of fictional television history because she
Yeah.
shit it on them. She Sizer. She Sizer. Oh my god! But overall, my final thoughts on House of the Dragon season 1, I'd give it a solid A. I give all of season 1 a solid A for me on the report card. That'd be a 9. I'll say a 9.5 out of 10. I feel the scale of 1 to 10 for me.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Egypt?
I'm not as huge a fan. But overall, like I said, it's not a series that I would knock for its production, its
Yeah.
acting, its writing. Everything is top notch. So I can't knock it for any of that stuff. It hasn't fallen apart, as far as I'm concerned. So I would still give it an 8, 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Just for even if you're coming into it new, you're coming into it blind, you never seen a George R. Martin story before in your life, you could pick this up, enjoy it. It's a good series. I think everybody would enjoy the drama, the acting, the intrigue. It's very good.
Yeah. For me, I would definitely give it an A, a solid A, maybe even A plus for me. Uh, and as for scoring, a 9, like a solid 9. Yeah.
Yep, that was it for House of the Dragons. I don't know if all of you guys have seen Tales of the Jedi, but that just dropped and it's 6 really short episodes. I
I
know
do.
Gibby's been ready to shred it.
I
Yeah,
know. I saw that
What?
post. I was like, damn, Gibby just is not happy with that.
he ain't having it. He ain't
Oh,
having it.
I
Oh my
wish we could
god.
get him on here real fast, though, man.
Yeah, he would have went
He
off
was
about
on
House of
for a
the
minute.
Dragon. Yeah, I don't know if he's still in the comments, but yeah, if he would have got on the show, like House of the Dragon and Tales of the Jedi would have been his like
Yeah.
selling points for sure.
So
Yeah.
is everybody here a big Star Wars fan?
Mm-hmm.
I am.
Okay, so Cam and definitely. So, I mean, from what I'm hearing, there's a lot of Star Wars fans who are just unhappy with this presentation.
Not
How do
me.
you feel?
How do you feel about it, Cam?
I liked it. I mean, it was shorter than I was expecting, and like 15 to like 18 minutes they were mostly, but I mean they were short. They were to the point. Uh, they had a lot of like they were simple but like really like powerful stories. Like Ahsoka being born and like seeing like her people witnessing like what she's capable of. That she could be a Jedi, and then it was definitely interesting and intriguing to see how one of the Sith's greatest like lords, Count Dooku, fell from grace as a Jedi, and then because
Mm-hmm.
I've never really like known like how like that happened, like what all took place, and just seeing him lose faith in the Jedi and then turning to the Sith. I thought that was really really interesting for sure. I like that for sure.
Was it canon or like was it animated and was it canon?
You want to
I
know
mean,
what's
it was
crazy? Like according to the EU bookheads, there, everything that happened in the TV show was not canon, but the top bosses of Star Wars are like, this is canon now.
I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
So
yeah,
so
because like
it's just like,
A retcon?
like created and written by Dave Filoni, who like
mhm.
did the
okay.
Clone Wars and Rebels. So yeah, and I would imagine it would be canon for sure. But yeah, it was animated. It was in the same style as the Clone Wars, and it
Ooh.
didn't. It felt very much like it, and then it could have been a movie. It could have been like an hour-long movie, to be honest. But I would have enjoyed it for sure.
Right.
So that's one thing I've noticed a lot with Star Wars as opposed to other franchises is Star Wars has a constantly evolving canon. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
what people say that's not canon, and then next week it may be canon in
Right.
Star
Right,
Wars.
right,
Yeah,
because they had
So
the
like
it is
bosses
the
got the
Legends
adapt.
final
books
say.
like a
Yeah.
decade or two ago, and now we
Yeah.
have all the movies and all the newer books coming out that they're saying are canon. But yeah, I guess it just depends on like what people prefer and what their perspective is, and also what the actual people behind the curtain say. Like, this is canon. This is canon. No, we cannot say what Yoda's race is called ever.
Bruh. It's been a long time, and the unsolved mystery of what the hell is Yoda's race.
That's like the
Yeah.
it's like Penny's last name in the Big Bang thing. I don't think we're ever gonna find out, like ever. And
Ever.
I'm okay.
It's like,
Yeah.
come on, like
I'm
at
okay
least
with
give
that.
us a family. What?
I
Come
mean,
on.
we have like maybe a distant family member now, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grogu.
So there is a whole race as opposed to like in the very beginning, you could have thought Yoda was like a one-off. Like,
Right,
now
right.
you see that he's possibly part of maybe even a very small race of beings
Right,
because you got
and even in
Grogu.
the Phantom
So
Menace when we all
yeah.
saw Yaddle in there,
Yeah.
who we actually get to see in Tales of the Jedi.
Hmm.
And they elaborate more on her too. So like
That's what
in
I heard.
Phantom
Yeah.
Menace, there's like a
And
brief second where you see the Jedi Council and she's over on the left side. And if you didn't see her in that clip, you didn't see her at all.
right,
Hmm.
and that's the
Yeah.
only movie she's in, and this kind of like sort of like explains why we never see her. And
Mhm.
what's really cool is she's voiced by Bryce Dallas Howard, one of the directors from The Mandalorian.
Mandalorian. Yeah.
And I thought she did a pretty good job. I'm not sure if she's ever done a voice scene before, but no, I'd say she did a pretty good job. And just seeing Yaddle and actually go up against Dooku because
She
that's
held
what
her
happened.
own.
Oh yeah, she held her own for a good amount.
Yeah, she held her own, man. Like, damn, like Dooku.
So that's interesting. I mean, do you feel like it's a building block for what they're heading towards? They've got a bunch of series that they want to seem like they want to, expand on. That this is, hey, we're going to try and kick these off and launch this stuff. Is this an important block, like an important stepping stone to go, hey, here's a little backstory. If you check this out, this series is going to make a whole lot more sense when you get to there. Is that what they're doing?
I would say so.
Well,
I mean, at least for like Ahsoka Tano, at least because, because it, like I said, it feels very much like it could be like a Clone Wars like special or something, but it still stands out on its own. But yeah, like in just finding out a little bit more about Ahsoka and like what her training and after what happened with Order 66, where she ended up, and just still like remembering like who she is and like why she does what she does, why she keeps going on. That definitely helps us like for sure like remember and why we love her so much. And like
Yeah, and I mean she's her show should be launching soon, right?
sometime
yeah.
next year, which
Yeah.
the one thing I'm most excited for besides season 3 of The Mandalorian.
Oh, I know. The Mandalorian was just
that-
I was caught completely off guard by that because I'm what you say is a very casual fan of Star Wars, so I
Yeah.
wasn't very knowledgeable about the whole Mandalorian race except for what I had heard, little tidbits here and there from Boba Fett references and stuff. But
Right.
just the one thing I have to say is they knocked it out of the park for me for both
They really
that
did.
season. I mean, I was like,
from day
this
one.
is on Rogue One level for me because Rogue One's one of
Yeah.
my favorites. You know,
It's
That was
so
a
good.
that was a masterpiece.
yeah.
And
Yeah, that was so good.
And it was like
yeah,
yo, I didn't need 10,000 famous faces. I didn't need, the biggest production budget. You guys kicked ass with what you had, and
we just needed a
took me right
guy
away.
who never shows his face and just
Mhm.
kicking ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was great.
With enough references to stuff you enjoy to the genre or the franchise to go, oh, I recognize that. Hey, I know that droid. Hey, I've seen speeder bike troopers before. Hey, enough to where you were like, oh, this is my thing, but more.
Yeah. It's an
Exactly.
easy formula to follow too, and you would think like Paramount could follow that with their Halo series. Like, no, we want Master Chief to just run around with no suit armor.
So bad.
Like, what the hell, bro?
I'm not even
Like-
I've never read the Halo books, but just watching the episodes, and I was like, why is his helmet always off?
Like,
Always.
if Mandalorian can do it, Master Chief can do it too.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Like,
It was they made
there
so
was
they
no
many
wanted to be
rhyme or
different.
reason.
I guess they wanted to be different. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
they
don't
did their.
see it.
They
Oh.
tried to rebel. They
Apparently.
tried their best.
Eric,
It's
have you ever watched the Clone Wars?
I've watched parts. I only caught a lot of it when it was on Cartoon Network
Mm-hmm.
way back, and I know it gets more involved into the stories as it goes on because the parts I saw were all the first and second episode or first and second season, I guess. So it's a little more, just touching on stuff.
Yeah.
But, I've tried to go back and watch some of it, but it's hard because for me, some of the scenes and stuff and it seems dated. And it's kind of like, it's hard.
It's about understandable, but they definitely cover a lot about Mandalore and the Mandalorians themselves. So if you want to learn more about just like that itself, like you should definitely like try to like pick out like the Mandalore episodes because those are really good. And actually, Bo-Katan from season 2 of the Mandalorian, she came from the Clone Wars.
Okay.
And what's really cool is Katie Sackhoff, who played her in the show, she voiced her in the show too.
Oh, okay.
She's been Bo-Katan since day one, and it's been epic.
They've made some good choices. I would say that a lot of the non-casuals, like the diehards, they know so much more about this series than we do. Part of that is because there's a lot of characters that's exclusively Filoni. So we refer to that as the Filoni verse. So I think Din Djarin, I don't know if it's the Mandalorian race itself, but Din Djarin for sure as a character is a Filoni verse character.
Okay.
That became canon. And from what some people's perspective of it is that they've been trying to make some of the Filoni-verse characters look way more badass than the OG George Lucas characters, and I can kind of see that. You watch the Book of Boba Fett, you see
I watched
how Din Djarin, which is the Mandalorian main character, shows up and tries to come off as more badass than Boba Fett.
I think
it ruffles the feathers.
It's equal. It's about equal because Din is newer and more our generation, and Boba is like one from the OG and like still a badass no matter what.
Yeah, standing as like I said, a casual. The Book of Boba Fett disappointed me a lot.
Really?
Because I remember Boba Fett from being a kid. Okay. And you were taught that, you didn't see him do anything badass, but him just being there, he was a badass.
Right.
Okay?
So badass, bro.
He was one of the worst crime bosses I've ever seen displayed on that show.
Total monster, bro.
Okay. His sidekick, the sniper lady,
Fennec,
was 10 times better at being a crime boss than Boba Fett.
It was bad.
The series was done. It lost it. It took too long in the beginning for me to get to Boba Fett being Boba Fett, and then it lost its footing. Then it got its footing back, and then it kind of just. And then I thought it needed the Mandalorian to save it in the very end because it was bleeding to death. For people going, Boba Fett sucks. I was like, what happened to the guy that I'm supposed to be like him just being in the room? Everyone's like, oh shit, it's Boba
Oh
Fett.
shit, chill out.
No, it
It's
ended up being
Boba.
this dude who can't even figure out who's screwing him over in this small town. I'm like, really?
Yeah,
This guy
freaking
survived in the stomach of this, that creature for like. I'm like, what? He can't figure this shit out. I
yeah.
mean, we can. Seneca, or what's her name? Seneca. She could figure it out. I'm like, she went and handled the hard work for him, dealing with the people who are screwing him over. I'm like, what is he doing then? Going to take another bath?
He's getting
I was like,
manhandled by
you're killing
another
me, dog.
bounty
You're
hunter.
killing me. Yeah, it was. But I mean, to me, when you mentioned like, is the Filoni verse characters trying to be overshadow? I think it's like Cam mentioned. He's more our generation now. Like he fits this generation more. Where Boba Fett at the time was a cool character that Lucas threw out without a
Right.
whole lot of backstory, which we all got to imagine more of a backstory for, and then people
now
wrote backstory.
And now that
You
we're
know?
actually getting real backstory and like real
Yeah.
character.
Yeah, and
I mean,
they're trying to make him meet up to this what we got with Jin. You're like, whoa, he's badass. And then they're trying to bring Boba Fett up there, but he
Yeah, it's
just
strange
didn't make
because
it, man. It's
it's
just like a
it's our casual perspective versus the OG book readers, because book readers, they have this whole theory
Yeah.
about what Filoni is trying to do, and sometimes you see stuff and it's just like, is it really a theory or are they dead serious? Like Filoni is really about to do some grimy stuff to all the characters that George Lucas gave us. And one example is that when they finally introduced Boba Fett and the Mandalorian, the first thing that happens, he gets his ass whooped by this Mandalorian girl, and she's not even like Bo-Katan. It's like her right hand girl, and he gets flipped, tossed. He pulls out a flamethrower, and she just like, get that shit out. So I understand like what Rob and the other guys are just like, oh hell no. And then it doesn't even stop there. So in the book of Boba Fett, uh, this started way back in the day. I'm not sure when exactly, but Cad Bane uh entered the game as a Filoni bounty hunter.
oh
And the
man,
theory about him is that he's supposed to be a better bounty hunter, or he's going to be made a better bounty hunter than the freaking Boba Fett. And
right.
even though Boba Fett killed him, he struggled a whole lot.
Well,
And granted, Cad Bane has a good rap sheet, but Boba Fett should still have seniority and all kinds of advantages over
well,
him.
I
So
mean, technically, Cad Bane's been doing it longer than Boba, like because Cad Bane is another character that came from the Clone Wars. If anyone doesn't know, and he is absolutely one of the most infamous, badass, like gunslinging bounty hunters in the galaxy, and he's been doing it for a long time. Because during the Clone Wars, Boba was just a kid; he was still learning the game. So, if anything, Bane should have more seniority and like be
right.
more just as or more feared than Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
and I think they were trying to make Boba I don't know, struggle, like make him more like human, or like bring him down to like a ground level maybe, because
Yeah.
we did kind of put him on, like, fans did put him on like a high pedestal because how badass he was and how great, how awesome a character he was, even though he didn't really do much, just outside like looking like a badass, like flying on his jetpack. But they did make him like just relearn and like how to like be a better man, a better hunter, a better shooter. Just, I mean, I like seeing the struggle and like seeing him like try to like piece together his life and like try to get a semblance of who he is now, because
Yeah.
it's been a long time, because it was a long time that he wasn't even like in the bounty hunting game, like after he crawled out of the Sarlacc pit. So, but yeah, it's just a mixed bag. But I didn't have too much issue with it.
Yeah, what they're saying about Jin Djarin and Cad Bane is the same thing they're saying about Ahsoka now. So Ahsoka is supposedly, they're trying to build and build and build more on her hype. to the point that it's just like casuals are gonna be willing to debate her as one of the strongest Jedi.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily believe that they're going to go that direction, but
Well,
if the EU fans see it coming with Dave Filoni and his supposedly nefarious intentions, then
but
Ahsoka's
isn't it
going to
kind of
be
necessary though at this point? I mean, not to knock Rob or any of the old school, they love the original stuff, but it's necessary at this point now for Star Wars to bring in new blood, new characters, especially after what I feel is a huge failure with the recent trilogy.
right.
Uh, they even have, they've had what do you call it? Um, Statements put out, news statements and stuff where they're like, hey, we're going to try to go in a different direction. We're not going to use the same old characters anymore. They need to, because it's just like if you go with Marvel Comics, if all they ever did was stick with Captain America, Iron Man, and the Hulk from the original Avengers, they wouldn't have gotten further. When they started to expand, they made characters like the X-Men during the, that supported a civil rights era kind of
Right.
idea.
Mhm.
They had to change with the times and introduce people to bring in new blood, new ideas, new fans to like of a different character. Not saying the old ones are gone forever, because you're always going to have references back to Luke. You're always going to reference Yoda. You're always going to reference Vader. Okay. But that's established. And if you're going to build a new character, you can't have that new character
Shit
suck.
on it. Yeah,
No, I mean,
can't
you
suck
can't.
and can't shit on the OG.
Yeah,
That's what I
and he
rock
didn't.
with.
And if you notice, Jin showed respect to Boba, especially when they figured out who he was.
Right.
And the respect is shown to these older characters, but it's shown as more of a respect, but you belong more here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna take the torch and keep going. I respect you, cool, you're badass, but it's time for someone to keep going, because
Right.
now you need to be more of a mentor to me, or more of a I don't know, something. But look, when they killed off Luke in the manner that they did, it showed to me that they're kind of bringing down the Jedi Order from being what it was when we were growing up. The Jedi Order was like, man, these guys are all good, doing everything great, trying to make the world a better place. And now we're seeing, in the days and times we live in, people don't want the hero that's flawless. Okay, people don't want this order of all benevolent people who are doing great things just to do great things. Okay,
Right.
because it's not the world we live in. And if you're going to write and you're going to create, you got to create something that people can relate to.
Exactly.
Right.
Somebody that plays on both sides of the spectrum, like the
For
fact
someone
that
who's real. Yeah, I mean, I feel like she's definitely more of a Jedi we can all relate to, because her emotions play a part in her decisions, her
Absolutely,
choices.
yeah.
and there's
You
so
know?
many force wielders that go from Jedi to Sith and Sith back to Jedi, and some of them aren't canon, but they will be canon soon.
Yeah.
And that's the most
but
interesting point.
I agree with you on Ahsoka, yeah, because she's probably more human and more like has more struggle than most, if not all, Jedi for sure. And the fact that, because as much as it is good to have like a Jedi who's doing good because of good, and uh, and like you said, but if anything, it'd probably be better to have someone who is flawed, who has a chip on their shoulder, who struggled, who knows like the other side of the saber or the spectrum, knows how far not to go, and what and where to draw the line, and like how to play the game, and play dirty if need to, but just try not to remember why you're doing this.
Yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
we got her. With her, you have someone that loves and cares about someone who's a Sith Lord.
Right.
That person is very important to her life, everything in her life. So then it makes sense. Like, they showed that more too with the other side of Obi-Wan, with this recent series with Obi-Wan. It showed Obi-Wan is not perfect. Okay. And it took it back from what we had originally, where it's like Obi-Wan is without flaw. That's what you always thought. He was this white knight, could do no wrong, was always there for the people, always doing the right thing. No, he hid out. He had to.
Oh,
man, yeah,
It just like canceled out on me on Eric too.
yeah, it kicked Eric out too. It was like,
And
damn, mid
we
speech.
apologize for these technical difficulties.
Absolutely.
But
I'm gonna
but no,
run to the bathroom real quick, and then we'll probably
oh,
give
there
our
he is.
final thoughts on this, and then just call it good for the night. I'll be right back.
Take
all
your
right.
time. They kick you out too.
Yeah, I think that was the wrap it up button from the powers that be. The universe was like, "Hey, wrap it up."
More or less. But no, they'll be back in a second. Uh, but yeah, no, but no, but yeah, no, Ahsoka's definitely like still gonna be one of my favorites for sure. Uh, her show is, I'm so excited for that one, and yeah, yeah,
So I should definitely check out the Clone Wars then to learn more about her before, and then
definitely.
Yeah.
this
The
new
Clone
series
War,
as well.
yeah, because like Filoni created her for the show. She was basically the audience learning everything about the Jedi, Coruscant, and everything.
Yeah,
They made an animated movie and then like the series, which ran for like 7 seasons. They revived it for like one season, like over a year ago, and it had one of the best endings I've ever seen. But yeah, and I would also say watch Star Wars Rebels too, because like I said, she's in that one as well.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know she was on that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, all Filoni's work, everything, Clone Wars, Rebels, and
So you seem like you love both the new Filoni verse and the original Lucas kind of verse. Do
mhm.
you see that the conflict is a negative thing, or do you see it as a growing thing? Like it?
I kind of see it as a little bit of both, more growing because uh, they've got to like as much as like we need to like use some of like the original characters and like story points and like movies, they also have to try and make their own new stuff, like their new material, new content, or else because if they just do the same thing over and over again, they're just going to run in circles uh, to a point. But as so long as they like do show respect for like the original content, the characters from there, and just show have the passion and love for it, and like still like want to do their own thing, I'd say go for it. And as long as the fans like it, if I like it, then I've got no issue.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I'll definitely take your advice and look at some of that because I'm anticipating her series too. I'm very interested, especially with just the tidbits that we got made.
Oh yeah,
It was like wow.
Rosario Dawson is the perfect person to play her in live action.
Yeah.
She's a fan of Ahsoka too, and she wanted to play her forever. So the fact that she's living that dream now, that's just I love
Yeah.
that for her.
Icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I try to heed the OG's warnings a little bit. Like, I'll keep a watchful eye if like Filoni is like, yeah, I want Ahsoka to be the most powerful force wielder in the game and all that. But otherwise, I'm not gonna live my life like that. Low
No,
key,
and
like, yeah,
even she wouldn't feel like that. I mean, part of her feels like she's not even a real Jedi because she left. Spoiler: she
Yeah.
left the Order.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
And
Isn't she a great
didn't they
Jedi
kind of
now?
already hint to that too? Because I mean, in the end of the Mandalorian season, where Luke actually shows up, there's no question that he is the man when he shows up.
yeah,
Okay?
right,
He
yeah,
is the pinnacle.
right,
He walks through that ship like
takes down
hey,
so
this is a
many.
lunch break for me.
everything.
You know?
Nothing.
Yeah. So I don't think that even with that writing, they showed respect to the old school. They're like, look,
Yeah,
he will always be top dog. Okay.
No
Yeah.
question.
It's just you've got to see where the other power lies. Power is different. Power changes. It doesn't mean that it's gone or anything like that. It just
yeah,
changes.
right.
And it's
Right.
time for it to change.
Like, I understand, like from a Kathleen Kennedy approach, but Dave Filoni, I have to be very watchful of him because Kathleen Kennedy, she's kind of savage with it, but Filoni's kind of been walking on eggshells a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Ahsoka, I respect her. She's a bad female Jedi, and I'm here to see that. Din Djarin is pretty cool as a bounty hunter, And Cad Bane is pretty cool as a bounty hunter too. Apparently, all three of them are Filoni characters. So,
Cad Bane was in the Clone Wars too, and you
yeah,
see him just go toe to toe with Jedi, and he's just an all around badass and one of my favorite villains for sure.
yeah. Each and every single one of them's canon now too, and they're supposedly making some of the Star Wars video game protagonists canon too. Like they might go for Star Killer someday.
Oh, that would be
Right.
interesting.
Yeah,
I would
And-
love it.
And they're making, and I'm pretty sure Callum.
Wait a minute, they make it a Star Killer show?
yeah.
No,
they wanted
no,
Christian.
He may show up
possible.
as being
canon, and
Yeah,
Callum is pretty much canon too. And since he's getting from Fallen Order, and since he's getting a sequel game, and they're also making a book too. They're writing a book for him as well.
Oh wow.
yeah. I
And
hope they
think
make
a lot
an
of
anime.
that too. People
they
who are casual like me, or aren't even casual, just enjoy watching the movies. They don't know that a lot of behind the scenes stuff are these writers who pick up the idea or the hint towards someone and run off with this great story that ends up molding a lot of the universe. I mean, you're like,
Mhm.
I mean, I remember, I can't place it exactly, but someone had told me like there was a whole book about Qui-Gon's first apprentice where it's referenced in the movie. Like you remember what happened with that, and maybe not his first apprentice, but it's the one that he messed up with. Ended up becoming a pretty powerful enemy of his, but you didn't get to hear any of that with the movies, but it was just referenced. But then there's a whole book and like parts of the comic and everything. And that's what I think a lot of people like we're seeing now with this development, these other series. Now you're going to get to see more of the expanded, universe of Star Wars and get to see more of these interesting characters, more than what we got with the originals. Doesn't undermine them. I know a lot of OG heads are scared or upset or whatever about you're taking out the classics, but maybe it's more of a branching out of the tree. The classics are always going to be that trunk, that
right. They're going to be the core, the center of it.
Yeah, the core of the tree. So
they're going to have their spin-offs too. Like Obi-Wan Kenobi, most of us didn't see that TV show coming. Like what?
Yeah,
right.
Obi-Wan Kenobi,
and they're still making a Lando Calrissian show too,
Mhm.
and they're just evolving with more books, more comic books, and even like with characters we've never seen, like the movies or the shows, like Dr. Aphra, and we just got Black Chrysanthemum in the book of Boba Fett. So there's a whole flurry of like characters that could still be like moved to different mediums, like to animated, to video, to gaming, to live action, to anything. That the possibilities are endless.
And they gave us the Solo Star Wars story, so people complained about that. We almost blocked our blessings for Star Wars. Like there was apparently we weren't going to get Obi-Wan Kenobi at first because of the numbers of Solo did so bad. But I guess the Star Wars guys felt mercy for us.
Well, also too, I mean, the fact that you're definitely going to get Ewan McGregor to come back,
and
I mean that right there. That right there was like they kind of had the gold in their pocket at that moment.
Absolutely.
There's absolute generation of people who grew up. He was their first experience of Jedi. Some of us grew up. Luke was our first experience of Jedi, but some, everyone who grew up with the prequels. So you got all those children who grew up, and like, hey, that's
Ewan
my
was
guy.
definitely my first for sure.
Yeah, see, I grew up with the originals, so Mark was my guy, But I always loved Han the most. Just by the seat of his pants.
Funny, man. He is so funny.
Say he's gonna get things done, and I love that. And I felt that was really missing with the latest three, because it felt like they had Poe Dameron, they had Finn, but neither of them ever fell into that role of being by the seat of my pants, gunslinging, whatever. They didn't give him that. And
like,
I
who
was
shot first?
Super excited when Finn got the saber in the first one. I was like, oh, and it never went anywhere. And I was so disappointed. I was like,
it was like, where's his force? Give him force ability, man, please.
Right.
I mean, they teased that at the end of like the Rise of Skywalker. So possibly like maybe Rey could like teach him like how to, if he knows how to use the Force and like be a Jedi, they could do that.
Yeah.
It's a possibility.
Yeah, but I mean, I think in a recent interview he said that they don't even talk. They they're not even in talks anymore of him ever returning as Finn. So,
And same with Daisy Ridley. Like she doesn't want to go back and play Rey again.
and take
Damn.
between the what's his name, the second director.
John Favreau.
No,
No. From The
Favreau
Last
did the
Jedi.
Mandalorians, the Last Jedi, and
Rian Johnson.
Rian Johnson, yeah.
Yeah.
I think between him and the switch back to
J.J. Abrams.
J.J. Abrams, I think the two different visions there, and the actors just got tired of it. Just kind of, I mean, if I was playing the role of Finn, and you had that first movie kind of brush up like, hey, we're gonna break some barriers here. This could be the first person of color being a Jedi. This could be it's also someone who was part of the Empire and was a stormtrooper becoming a Jedi. How crazy is that?
That would be epic.
Yeah.
And then it just went nowhere. So I
Nowhere.
think a lot of them were just disheartened. Like,
Well,
hey,
I
I
like
came
more
in with believing it was going to be so much, and then I got nothing.
right. Well, I like more of what J.J. Abrams did more than I did Rian personally.
Oh,
I mean, not that I didn't not like The Last Jedi, I did, but the different tonal direction that he went with after The Force Awakens, it just, I don't know, it just didn't mesh together with the other two, which were both Abrams. But no, no, yeah, it just was unfortunate that JJ didn't stick with all three like George did with both trilogies, which it probably would have worked
difference.
worked better. Yeah, I love JJ for sure, but it
JJ
would
is
have worked
man.
better. But
Mhm.
first Star Trek, now Star Wars. Next thing you know, he's gonna be doing Battlestar Galactica.
I hope he's responsible for any Nova projects moving forward for Marvel.
That would be good. Him doing a Nova.
He is a good pick for that.
Mhm.
I mean, actually, to be honest, I'm not a huge James Gunn fan, but he did well when he carried the torch for Guardians. I mean, I mean, he even references that Star Wars is a huge influence on him as far as how a galactic kind of experience should be. And I think he did good. There was enough other race, interventions, enough other places, enough interesting, just the way Star Wars does that. Star Wars gives you this whole universe and just, makes it feel like, you just walked into another, realm. Boom. It's done very well. So I think Abrams is in, if he gets back in the back helping with the mantle and stuff, that'd be great. But I don't know. I was really disappointed with I think it was The Last Jedi and the Rise of Skywalker, or those two. I mean,
I'm gonna have to rewatch that trilogy. I've seen them in theaters, but I faintly remember the events.
It's been a while since I've seen them too.
I really like the first one. The Force Awakens was really good.
If anything, I would have to put it The Force Awakens, The Rise of Skywalker, and then The Last Jedi. Because the Rise of Skywalker, I did like it. It could have had a bit better ending and more thorough story points wise. But I don't know. I just like the idea, like the movie. It was a little bit more simpler than what Brian was trying to do with The Last Jedi.
It was. Yeah, I agree. I agree completely, because I mean, it felt like JJ's trying to put tape and stuff and fix the split that happened with the second. He's like, I got to go back.
How do I fix this? What do I do? Help me!
Here's how you fix it. Go to Marvel.
Yeah, it's a good movie. He just had to. He was just trying to make everything complete, make it all make sense by the end, and there's a lot of work to do with a 2.5-hour movie. Like I gotta. So it is good, but the second one just kind of.
He did the best.
If JJ goes to Marvel, you're right. Nova would be the way.
Absolutely. We just got to figure out who's going to play Nova and what Nova is going to be.
Right. Because we got to keep him separated from Kathleen Kennedy. That's for sure. Because he's that is not J.J. Abrams at his primes at all. Like, you keep him away from her, and you'll see prime J.J. any day. But you unite him with Kevin Feige.
Yeah, like a producer who wants to give the reins for creativity. It really makes a difference. It shows. I mean, like you said, Hamada was so.
Just
didn't give a shit.
And just like inner turmoil and like I don't want to hear you, Ray Fisher.
Exactly.
But
It's
yeah, but
Screw
no,
you, Henry Cavill.
yeah. It's like, bro, you can't build your franchise like that.
Screw you,
can't.
Ben Affleck, but not really,
Yeah.
not for me.
Especially with
I'll
actors like
support that.
Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck. You got actors like you
who
got
are both
Affleck
amazing.
and Cavill on your list, and you're gonna treat them like that. I'm like, what?
He's way out of his league with that shit.
Yeah.
He will just, yeah, they will both just take him out for sure.
Yeah.
Now, D, I know you're one to do a closing statements soon, but I wanted to ask you guys. We all watched The Witcher, right? Or no?
I haven't started the series yet, but I'm familiar with the games.
What is it?
Okay. The Witcher.
Oh yeah, I've watched.
Okay. Has anyone heard what's happened? What the news that broke out today?
No.
Yes. Heartbreaking.
I know. I don't know how to feel about it. So, okay. For the gist of it, do you know that Henry Cavill is Geralt of Rivia, right?
Yeah.
Well, today they announced the season 4 for Netflix, but they also announced that after season 3, he is no longer going to be Geralt of Rivia, and he's handing the reins to Liam Hemsworth.
All right,
yeah, my same expression.
What?
Yeah.
What?
What?
I'll talk about it later.
I'm gonna ask Eric first, since you guys are processing right now. Eric, what do you think?
You're going from the Nerd King, the Man of Steel, to Liam Hemsworth.
Loves the games, loves the books.
He loves the games. He's played them all. I don't know much about Liam Hemsworth except for what I've seen him do,
and the fact that he's Chris Hemsworth's baby brother.
Yeah, he doesn't. I mean, oh,
I know.
Oh, this is.
So basically, the only thing I can say, Cam, is The Witcher will end with season 3 for me.
Oh,
that's understandable. That's
For
understandable.
me as well.
I'll probably still watch season 4, but it's just never going to be the same. Clearly,
No.
I guess it's maybe because like he announced he was coming back as Superman and other projects, because The Witcher is like pretty demanding of him, like because he's got to film pretty and stay in shape pretty tightly, but still, like, he loves the games, he loves the book, he loves the whole world. So I can't imagine what would actually take him away from it. But
maybe it's that rumor about the Marvel deal. If he's doing Superman and something for Marvel, he might not have had the time in his schedule. You know,
I mean, I guess, but still, I mean,
they gotta do him right.
Work around it. I don't know, but
I know.
I just know fans are going to be clamoring. Go back! We don't care about Superman. Go back!
I love Geralt.
Yeah.
Geralt of Rivia is one of the best characters.
He really is.
They don't care about Superman. I mean, well, never mind. They are fans of freaking The Witcher, so I understand they don't.
Thank you. No, I do love Superman, but
I do. He's the best Superman. So
hands down.
In the last few years, but no, he is such a great Geralt of Rivia. I can't see anyone else doing the job physically, emotionally, and
it's one of those, like, he was born to be him, just like Robert
really
Downey Jr., like Samuel L. Jackson. You know, it's like you were born for that role,
and not to mention like and the chemistry that he already has with the rest of the castmates, Anya and Freya, and
they ain't gonna get that back.
Ah, man. Well, yeah, that also, like, if he can leave, like, maybe someone else can. Just it's a whole can of worms. But
it is.
I wouldn't risk it at all.
No, studios need to really realize the importance of continuity. I mean, Batman is a prime example. Batman is one of the most beloved characters ever. Okay. But continuity makes a huge difference. They lost a lot of fan following over the years just from going from Keaton to Kilmer to Clooney to...
Especially in the 90s. Because the Tim Burton movies were so great. And Joe Schumacher was like, remember, we're making a cartoon. No!
No, you're not. It's a graphic novel at best. I mean, you're talking... when you go with stuff with the Detective Comics of Batman, you're talking about a very, very stark world of, it's not a cartoon at all,
Yeah.
And we have a wrong idea of cartoons. Look at anime.
Oh man.
They have it right.
Right.
They don't call it a cartoon. They don't treat it any different than the rest of their entertainment industry. They're like,
We don't even
we
call.
understand it can be drama, it can be horror, it can be comedy, it can be action.
We don't even call cartoons these days. We call them like animated series or animated just movies.
Right. Yeah, that dude.
But
I
the
know.
loss of Henry is going to be but maybe he just wants more time to build his Warhammer 30K stuff because he loves that too. Have you seen that?
I have. Yeah.
Oh my god,
that dude is a nerd, man.
He is
He's
so
the king of nerds.
I would love to
Nerds.
interview him one day, man.
He is the king.
We got to.
We got to.
But
He
no,
is the true king of nerds.
Just send him an email, and I'm pretty sure you could probably get him on this podcast because he's just that cool.
Oh yeah!
Oh
please,
my gosh, I would
please.
love.
Bro,
I would
pay. I would
not
pay
only to have him on here, but to talk to him. That would make my entire life. Like
I would cry. I would cry.
I mean,
You can try to
You'll
reach
see
out to him, but I
videos.
don't see it happening. But still,
You
But
see
I'm be
videos of
honest,
him walking
y'all.
down the street, like in Montreal or whatever. I forget. Maybe it's Montreal, Vancouver. They're filming something. He just wanted to. Nobody notices him. I'm like, he seems like the kind of guy. Like if you said, "Hey, would you do a short podcast with me here with my phone real quick?" He'd probably be like, "All right," because no one else is bothered.
Like,
Nobody
fuck
says
it.
yeah, I feel like he would too. He's just that's nice
I
and
haven't
casual
seen
of
him
a
on
guy.
any other podcast. Like we'd be the first to do it, man. You know. What I'm saying?
That
For
would be
real.
insane.
Yo,
I mean,
Henry, man, I'd cry on the show with him, bro.
I probably
But-
wouldn't be able to ask many questions because I'll be starstruck and just staring at him.
I
Like,
would probably have to do like the question asking at the best, like what he can answer. Like in all honesty,
Yeah.
You're
But,
like, Henry, I just want you to know, no homo, bro.
I love
an
you.
individual.
Yeah. But
We
just
all
pure
Cry,
love.
just cry, bro.
Yeah.
But Deontay, do not let this deter you from watching The Witcher. It really is like one of the
Oh.
best series out there.
At least
Like,
watch the first 3 seasons, man.
Yeah.
The first two, season 3 isn't coming out until next summer, I
Well,
think.
first 2 for right
Well,
now.
yeah, you're right. The season 3 is next July, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they've got the animated movie Nightmare of the Wolf, and
That's actually
They've
really
got-
good too.
it was
Yeah.
and they have the spinoff Blood Origins coming out this December.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's
What's
supposed
that
to be
gonna
like
focus on?
it's supposed to be like the origins of like the land, the continents, and like
Oh.
it's supposed to be how like the origins of the continent, like elves and humans, and like
The story's
creation
really
of the
good.
first Witcher. Yeah,
Yeah.
and they've
Yeah.
got like they've got a big cast, but the biggest name that I recognize out of it is Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Dude, I still gotta watch C.
that's my baby. Oh, I'm watching C tonight for sure.
Wait, you got Apple?
I do. It's
Go ahead
freaking on.
yeah. Send me that
Yeah.
information, man.
I just watched Barbarian on Apple TV last night. So
I
I'm
want to check that out.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute, what's Barbarian about?
It's a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Very
who we were
recent.
talking about earlier.
Yeah.
But
Like, what is it about?
But-
Like real fast. Sorry.
Yeah, it's about this girl. Like the trailer is fucking awful. It does not dive into
Misleading.
what you need to know. Yeah, it's very misleading about what goes on in the story. This girl gets like an Airbnb, and she pulls up, she checks in and gets ready to like clock in, and finds out that someone else is at the Airbnb as well. Which that is kind of misleading too. So she gets to know him a little bit. The trailer makes it look like the threat or the antagonist to her is the dude that's in the Airbnb the whole time. It's not. Movie barely has anything to do with him, and it's a lot. The Airbnb, the house that they're in, has so much evil shit going on with it, and both of them get dragged into it, and that's where that story goes.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I guess we're gonna wrap it up. You know what I'm saying? And
right, yeah. D, was there anything else you wanted to say or talk or
no.
close out on?
thoughts.
Yeah, as far as the my last thought on Tales of the Jedi, I would give that series a solid B, and then I call it good. Could call it good on that. I'm looking forward to the Sith series that's coming out next year or whenever that drops. So hopefully that's better. Uh, Tales of the Jedi wasn't bad, but I know Sith is going to go much harder when they do that. It's called Star Wars Acolyte. So when that drops, I'll be ready for that. But that's all I got on Tales of the Jedi. Uh, and you guys got any scores for it or
I'd give it like a solid B plus.
yeah?
I haven't seen it, so like I said, after talking to you guys and hearing Cam's explanation of that and the Clone Wars, I'll probably be checking it out so I can get a better feel for
Uh,
those characters.
Go ahead and get that Black Adam in too.
Ooh,
Oh,
What do
definitely.
you,
After
what do
this,
you
after
like?
your guys' review, I got Black Adam to watch. I got the Clone Wars to catch up on, and the Tales of the Jedi.
Barbarian and Tales of the Jedi.
Barbarian, man, I got a lot of
take
stuff to
take your
watch.
take your
Yeah,
time. You got
Make a
plenty of time
list
and plenty to
and take
enjoy.
your time. Yeah.
me too.
Um, yeah. What about you,
See,
Cam? About the Star Wars series?
he you gave it a B,
B
didn't you?
plus, yeah.
Oh, so EJ gave it a B plus and Cam gave it a B.
Okay.
Okay,
When Cam said
okay.
B plus, I've still got to watch it, so I don't know
Oh
what you
yeah,
give it.
yeah,
Will
yeah. That's right.
I still gotta watch it myself,
okay.
but you know, like yeah, like
Okay,
uh,
yeah. Well, that's all I got for Tales of the Jedi. And then my last couple announcements is that tomorrow we're looking to do the Halloween special. I won't be able to be in the stream, but I will be able to be in the comments. So if we are able to find a replacement for me, then we'll still be able to talk about all these different horror movies and horror projects and whatnot. And that should be the announcement will drop first thing in the morning as soon as we figure out a time. But expect roughly like 7 or 8, maybe. Whatever works with the other hosts and help them come through and talk about their favorite horror stuff. And so that'll count as the Halloween special. I work next weekend, so I won't be able to do any more content. But
that's
uh,
fine, man.
yeah, that
Um,
should be it for the October
ish.
streamathon.
Yeah.
Hmm.
We got one more Twitch stream with Will. We're supposed to do an interview with Nick Smith about his red carpet premiere, but because
That was
I'm
awesome.
working, I
Yeah.
won't be
Yeah.
able to be a part of that. But if
Um,
episode 11 is supposed to be primarily reviewing Black Panther 2, so we'll try to get Nick Smith in for that as
Yeah,
well.
that would be excellent. I don't know if you've seen or Cam, have you seen the clips and stuff from the pictures and so forth from the red carpet?
Mhm.
For oh man, if you get a chance, check that out. It's Nick Smith stuff. You got to put that up for some of the photos. I mean,
Yeah,
it's awesome. The access he got is just it was impressive.
yeah, he got a picture with freaking Feige. That would
Yeah,
have been my profile picture. Like,
signatures
dang,
yeah,
on his helmet from the
definitely.
director, and yeah, I was like, wow, man, that's awesome.
yeah, he did it
Damn.
big. But yeah, after the Halloween special, as far as the main podcast go, this will be the last. These will be the last two contents that you'll see from us until then. Otherwise, you'll see a lot of Twitch streaming with Emperor, and we'll just be waiting a little bit for episode 11 after we catch One Piece Film Red and Black Panther 2. But that's
Sounds
it for
good.
me.
All right.
Oh yeah. You can catch the gaming streams usually, typically Sundays at 8:30 or 9. Um, in between those times, Tuesday and I believe Thursday, or well, hold on, Thursday, right? Did I tell you or Friday? Which one?
It is Sunday, Tuesdays, Fridays.
Okay, Fridays 8:30 and in between 8:30 and 9. But yeah, A lot. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I get on there game with friends. We joke around. It's sometimes it's live. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of people in the party and stuff, and we just have fun. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's just me, um, and Deontay talking about different things that come and stuff. So yeah, the streams are pretty okay. It's pretty good, man. We try to make it fun for everybody, and that way it's entertaining as well. Um, but yeah, looking forward to maybe getting some more people to hop on there with what I'm saying. Let's talk, game, do whatever. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
Be
yeah,
nerds.
yeah, definitely. But yeah, and I think that's it for right now. Yeah.
Shit, Cam, you got anything for the gang or?
No, I mean, I'm still figuring out. I still probably need to figure out Twitch, so it might be a while
Mm.
before I try to attempt that. But
Okay.
yeah,
And
All
then
right.
Well,
EJ.
I don't know what you're playing on Twitch, but is it you guys are all trying to be on the same game together?
Um.
no,
It,
that we're trying to like uh play different, be diverse and like do different games. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Will, what are
sometimes
you playing right now?
like we do. Like I don't know. Whenever Deontay get his TV, you may see us game together. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right,
sometimes we do our own thing. Sometimes we game together. You know.
Okay.
right, yeah,
Well, I'm in the same boat as Cam. If you teach me Twitch stuff, and I mean,
All right.
I'm down
Yeah.
to try whatever. So, like I said, I just
for sure.
appreciate being
Same.
here.
Yeah, you could definitely catch Will on Warframe and Elden Ring
Uh,
and
hopefully some the new upcoming games. I know there's a game. What is it called? Descendants or something like that. The
okay.
Descendants. I want to check that out whenever it comes out. So,
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
You'll catch me on
Right now,
Twitch soon too, playing Pokemon Violet
same,
coming soon. So
same.
yeah, we're definitely going to be doing that for sure.
yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll be probably doing that. Right now, Right now, I'm playing Gotham Knights, and
Ooh.
I'll be getting Sonic Frontiers, and I've got a whole slurry of
Yes.
other games that I can
Okay.
Twitch stream. Here.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Can't wait for Sonic
We gotta
Frontier.
get. Yeah, we definitely gotta get you on the schedule too, man.
Yeah,
Mhm.
if I do join in and it's just playing games, it'd probably be a lot of horror games if you tune into me. Like I like
Need that
Resident Evil, Silent
Oh
Hill,
god.
Dead Space. I can't wait for Dead Space.
jump scares, baby.
Yeah, man.
And the Callisto Protocol.
Callisto Protocol. I'm trying to pick that up. Yeah, I love
Hey,
those. You
if
know,
they have cross-platform gaming, hey, invite me. Even though I'm probably gonna be doing most of the running and yelling, but
Hmm.
yeah, man, it
yeah,
should be entertaining.
sounds
Right,
good.
and Eric, I can probably send you my tag too.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Shoot,
All right.
that's all we got, man. We appreciate everybody that stopped by and checked out the bonus episode, hopped in the comment section, showed us love.
Absolutely.
We will catch y'all again tomorrow. Probably won't be the exact same squad tomorrow, but I'll definitely be around to
Yeah.
support. Uh, we got to do it for the spirit of Halloween. I would have dressed up as Cad Bane for Halloween, but a lot of stuff fell through from my cosplay. Very first cosplay that went sideways, but oh well.
Save it for next year.
You guys
Well,
will
there's
catch me.
always, cosplay doesn't have a exact, holiday, so you can always do it
Right.
any other night of the podcast.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You'll catch me suited up one way or another for sure.
Yeah.
But anyhow, that is it for the bonus episode. Everybody stay blessed, stay safe, and stay nerdy.
Yes,
We
sir.
love you guys. Thank you for the support, and we will see y'all next time.
All right, take care, guys.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Peace.